All right, welcome back. Welcome back to You Talk Sports. This is the best place to be online if you are a basketball fan. This is where we come together on Zoom as a true fan community every night to watch the game of the night. Tonight's game will be coming on right in just a minute at 7 p.m. Eastern. We've got a pro college doubleheader for you. It's the Indiana Pacers versus the Toronto Raptors, two of the exciting young teams, and then also the North Carolina Tar Heels versus the Miami Hurricanes. We're going to be breaking down those two games, giving our play-by-play analysis, giving our best picks, and you're going to have a lot of fun watching this live or on the replay. If you are watching this on the replay and you'd like to join us in an upcoming episode, we'd love to have you up here on Zoom. I'm going to go ahead and open the Zoom room right now and start to let everyone in. And we would love to have you join us. What you're going to need to do is comment below this video, just put in the word Zoom, and we'll send you the Zoom link so that you can be up here on our panel of experts for tomorrow night or for any one of our upcoming games. Go ahead and leave a comment saying Zoom if that's you, if you're watching us on YouTube for either of these games. Throughout tonight, we're going to be in the live chat on YouTube, like we always do. That chat you won't be able to see once the game ends. You'll just see the comments down below. There's usually not a lot there because that's turned off when we're live casting. So again, I want to welcome you. I'm excited for our game of the night tonight between the Indiana Pacers and the Toronto Raptors, two of the best young teams in the league, two very exciting young teams in the league, and two teams that I am excited to get to see here tonight. And I know you guys are too. That's why you're tuning in. We're going to go around the horn and get your pregame takes on this game in just a minute. It is scheduled to tip off right now. I wanted to mention that we are trying something new. We're trying a few things new every night. And one of the things we're doing today is featuring a pro college doubleheader. So we are also broadcasting and talking about tonight the Carolina game that's over on ESPN. Every night we feature the games that are on TV. The idea is you're watching the game on TV and you're here in the chat with us, you're here on Zoom with us. And it's kind of like, hey, if we were all hanging out in the living room together, we were just kind of giving our takes on what's happening, what we're looking for in the game, and having lots of fun together. You know, someone should never be isolated, never feel alone. You shouldn't be using sports to isolate yourself from society. Instead, it's better to be using sports to connect yourself in community. So we're going to be talking about both of these games tonight. We're going to have the live game cast on here so you'll be able to see live updates as they come on. Of course, you know, the television networks don't allow us to show the actual game, but better than that is you'll be getting commentary from us, the true fans. We're a fan community here at You Talk Sports. My name is Greg Wells. I'm honored to be your founder and leader, and we'd love to have you. If you're here on YouTube, we'd love to have you join us up here on Zoom. I'm going to drop the link to this broadcast there in Zoom. I'm trying to drop the Zoom link in the YouTube chat so that you can come up and join us. And those of you that are here on Zoom, I want to welcome you. We're going to be getting your pregame takes in just a minute, starting with the NBA game of the night, the Toronto Raptors and the Indiana Pacers. If you have a take on that, go ahead and use the Zoom raise of hand to get in the queue with your predictions for tonight. We're going to then get into bets and parlays for tonight's game. We're going to be talking about both games tonight. We're going to try this double-headed feature. You know, and I got this idea because I love going to the sports bar to watch games. And I love having like 3 or 4 games on at once, especially during football season, but also during basketball season. So that's kind of the vibe of what we're going for here. And here's the link, by the way, for those of you that are here on Zoom. I do need everyone who's here on Zoom to go over and open us up in a separate browser tab or on a separate device, your phone maybe, in YouTube. And we go over into YouTube, put in a like, and tell us who you're picking in tonight's game in the chat there, whether you're taking the Pacers minus the points, or whether you're taking the heat plus the points in the YouTube chat. We need everyone to put that in the YouTube chat. We need everyone to like today's video. Being totally transparent here, when you're a new show like we are, we're in our third week, day one of week 3. Every bit of engagement on YouTube helps. And we're going to be trying out doing a lot more of our engagement in YouTube today, in the YouTube chat here today. As we continue to grow this and evolve this, we want this to be something that's fun for you. We want this to be something that's valuable for you. And we want this to be something that grows and more people become a part of this. I'd love to have dozens of people up here on Zoom. So don't feel like you have to comment on every topic we talk about tonight. If you're mostly a football person, just wait till we talk football. We always talk some football, some basketball. If you're mostly an NBA person, go with that. If you know a little bit about college and NBA, go with both those things. These aren't things, where we're expecting anyone to research anything, where we're expecting anyone to, be pro and be polished. But we do want to start things off with our pregame takes on this game once we get everyone over into the YouTube chat. And then what we're going to do, we're going to do a fun segment. I asked our group to bring a take, a 1-minute take on any topic that you want to cover. So it can be any sports we're going to delve into tonight and just see what directions this takes us. I thought this would be better than me kind of giving you guys questions and you kind of having to impromptu respond. I want to keep you in your wheelhouse. I want to keep you at your best. So if you bring in your own take from whatever is current events in sports, we don't really want to get into, or is Joe Montana better than Tom Brady here? We want to stay current. Give your take, and then what we're going to do is we're going to have as each person gives their take, and this will be after the pregame takes. This will kind of be part 2 of tonight. After the pregame takes, we will get your 1-minute takes. I'll call on each of you, and then what we're going to do is respond in the YouTube chat. We want to try out having more of us engaging in the YouTube chat and just kind of come up here on Zoom for the takes and less of the banter here on Zoom. Some of the feedback was that would just be better to be in the YouTube chat. And we really want to blow up the YouTube chat. So I want to make sure everyone is over in the YouTube chat. If you don't have the link, I'll put it here in the Zoom again. And if you're there, let's actually hop over and look at the YouTube chat. And we've got here so far 2 people. Let me refresh this. We need everyone over here. And then if you're over here and you're not up on Zoom, if you're watching us on YouTube, we'd love to have you join us here in Zoom. So let me put the Zoom link here in case some people need this Zoom link. And if you guys could just let me know, if you could type yes in the YouTube chat, if you're able to see the Zoom link. I think we had something in the settings where links weren't showing up properly, which makes it hard for anyone to get from YouTube up here. So let me know if you could put a yes in the chat if you're able to see the YouTube link. That would be helpful. So that's going to be what our format is going to be tonight. It's a little bit different. Again, we're trying new things. We're trying to grow the channel. We're open to suggestions and feedback. In past episodes, it's been more of a talk show format where I give you guys questions and we go around the horn. And what I found, it was interesting. Here's what kind of led me to this is I was watching the game on Sunday. And I was in a YouTube chat. I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. Just chatting, just chiming in, chatting with other people here in the YouTube chat. And I was having my full attention on the game. One of the things I found, the way we've been doing this, where we're going around the horn debating and asking questions, is I'm not actually able to really watch the game. And I want to enjoy the game. Part of this is for us all to have fun enjoying the game. And part of this is it's the vibe we want to have is like, hey, if we were all in my living room, just chilling, watching the game, those are the things we want to chime in with and hear and express, bad call, great pass, those kind of things. Let's put all that in the YouTube chat here tonight as we try to supercharge our YouTube chat and blow up this channel even more. I'm excited. We're at week 3 here. I'm going to have you guys start with giving me your pregame take for the Indiana versus Toronto game, right? And in true sports bar vibe, we're also going to be talking about today the North Carolina versus Hurricanes game. I'm expecting that Carolina is going to put a whipping on Hurricane. We watched last week, we watched Duke put a whipping on the Canes, but maybe they can right their ship. So we're also simulcasting both of these games. They're just underway right now. So let me pull up the game cast here, and we'll have our stats in center stage. And I'm excited to dive into this. All right, so first up for takes is Jeremiah. And at this point, we're doing our pregame takes on the NBA game. So let's start with that, Jeremiah. Great to see you again.
Thanks, man. My pregame take is I feel the Pacers come out of here with a win tonight. Tyrese Halliburton leads the league in assists at more than 11 and a half a game. And the Pacers are trying to stay out of the play-in portion of the Eastern Conference, currently sitting at sixth. Philadelphia is at fifth with Embiid still not playing. I like the Pacers moving to at least fifth place here in the next week or so.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I see the Pacers kind of surging up. I honestly feel like they might be the second or third best team in the East. Certainly, they don't want to be in the play-in game with Halliburton coming back from an injury and Siakam, the trade acquisition. Let's continue to get our takes here. We'll go next to Cameron.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Uh, I agree with you guys saying that the Pacers are going to be an elite team in the East. They actually have one of the top-rated offenses in the NBA. I think they're scoring around 121 points a game. They just play no defense. And also early in the season, they made a nice little run in that in-season tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same thing here in the playoffs. They just made a trade for Pascal Siakam. And they got a good second-year player in Benedict Mathurin. They still got Miles Turner there. So Halliburton's got a really good supporting cast, and I like the Pacers trending upwards, and I got them winning tonight.
Nice. I always appreciate your takes, Cameron. I know you watch a lot of NBA. Well, what I'm curious just to follow up on the no defense thing. Is it like, do they just suck at defense, or is this like a Mike D'Antoni thing?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Rockets. They take a lot of jump shots. They play real fast. I think they lead the league in 3-point attempts.
It's just like the strategy is to rest on defense. Is the strategy to rest on defense and not try, or like why are they so bad at defense? Is it just the talent, or
high score? That's what comes with scoring a lot of points in the game. You know, sometimes you're just back and forth. You're like 130, 140.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think back, I don't know if you're old enough to remember like Loyola Marymount, like there's teams where like they literally just are going to try to outscore you. They're not even really trying that much on defense. And I wondered if that's kind of what the Pacers are going for here. They are
kind of like
how the start.
It's kind of like how the Mavericks played a couple seasons ago when they broke the NBA record for the highest offensive rating in the NBA. Yet their defense got them nowhere in the playoffs. They played zero defense. It's just sometimes the price to pay if you want to get in a track meet with another team.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to be a lot of up and down. If that's your style of play, it's going to come right back at you. A lot of times you're hoping to outrun them, maybe outgas them. If you're in better shape than them, that's when that type of fast breaking, running, gunning can really pay off. All right, let's go to Will. And if anyone else has a pregame take on this game, go ahead and use the Zoom raise of hand. Will, what are you looking for in tonight's game?
Yeah, just from the scores on the regular season series, looks pretty close. They just played pretty recently, and I guess that was kind of Siakam's like came back. So I definitely think the Pacers are going to win. I'm interested to see where I have them. I know a lot of people are saying that they didn't really get much better with Siakam just because of the difference between them and the top teams. So we'll see what happens. But I think the Pacers definitely win, but it might be close.
Yeah, you make a good point to look at the previous times these plays. We had a 1-point win for Toronto and a 2-point win for the Pacers.
He was traded by that time, right? 214.
By the second one, I think, yep, Siakam was already on the team. Yeah. So clearly both games have been close. It seems like taking the points tonight would be a good play. If you're betting on this, of course, you can still get in-game action on this. I think Siakam going back up against his old team is, I think, an interesting storyline for today. You know, anytime a player goes up against his old team, there's kind of a revenge factor. What are you looking forward into in this game, Drew? Or you're still on mute?
Okay, yeah. I'm looking forward to see the point guard matchup with Tyrese Halliburton and the former Knicks guard Emmanuel Quickly. I like his game, but I feel like the Pacers they're gonna take this one. Should also be interesting to see Siakam go up against Scotty Barnes. Siakam was a former All-Star. Scotty Barnes just made All-Star team this year, so should be a pretty fun game.
I have myself on mute there now. Yeah, do you know, Drew, how they got Quigley? I've seen him have some big games off the bench. I don't know if he was just a throw-in or how did they wind up getting him?
Yeah, I think they traded OG and Anobi for RJ Barrett and Quickly. It was both of them. It was like a package deal.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's a good pickup then. I like both those guys.
Yeah,
Rose,
for sure.
and he's been out hurt. Let's go next to Alex. What are you looking for in this game, Alex?
Yeah, I'll talk about Toronto a little bit first. Really looking for Scotty Barnes to take that step. A lot of people really seem to like him, and I mean he went to the All-Star game, obviously his first time this year, but I just don't see it translating so far. And I know he's still only 22 years old, and he still, still has multiple years until he hits his prime, but I just don't see it, and I'd really like to see him take a step forward. And now's the time to do it, right? Raptors are seemingly tanking, and I mean you have RJ Barrett on the team too, and quickly, but I'd really like to see Scotty Barnes take that step for Toronto. Not on a Pacers side. As a Homer Bucks fan, not really liking the Pacers. He's kind of dominated the Bucks this year in the play-in tournament. I think they went 4-1 against them. And Halliburton's actually from Wisconsin, and still upset that he stole Giannis's game ball. But that's a take that I can talk about later. But with the Pacers, adding Halliburton and Siakam, or excuse me, adding Siakam is great for them. And I think that you pair him with Halliburton once they get their feet wet playing with each other. The Pacers are going to be I think they're going to be like a 5 seed. They're going to be a scary 5 seed just because they can score, but that defense might hurt them. And then for the Pacers as a team, I know Rick Carlisle came out and he said he wants to work on defense. That's going to be his main focus. So we'll see if they, no pun intended, pick up the pace on on a defense here. But from a betting perspective, I'd see the under hitting just because of that reason. I think the Pacers are going to focus more on defense. So I'll be curious to see if that under hits tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I think you make a good rationale for the under there because it's pretty high because they're expecting a run and gun game. And I would love to get your take on that whole ball scenario. Remember seeing that on ESPN, but I didn't really get what that was about. We'll circle back around to our takes later on here today. One of the things with me is I really I love basketball. It's my favorite sport to play, but I follow football like every word, I hang on football. So I really don't start watching basketball each year until football ends, maybe around Christmas a little bit. I watch the highlights on Sports Center. It's not like baseball where I don't even watch the highlights on baseball and hockey. And but other than the highlights, like I don't really follow it. So it's just kind of just the beginning. So if that's you and you're here, you're right in with us. You'll get up to speed fast. It's great getting opinions from different fans from different cities. We get a lot of different insights. We have a lot of fun banter. Imagine this was the crew hanging out in your living room, how much fun that would be. And I love that we're all people of different races, different genders, different parts of the country. Even we have some people join us often from all around the world, which is great. Before I give you my take on the Indiana game, I want to just hop over and check the score on our second game tonight, Miami versus North Carolina. North Carolina's off to an early lead. Of course, they're ranked 9th right now. This Miami team went to the Final Four last year, but has been struggling. Nigel Pack is out. We saw them lose to Duke. They got blown out by Duke last week. We covered that game. If anyone has a take on this game or any insights on either of these two teams, we'd love to get that from you next. Also, what we're going to do after we finish all of our opening takes is we're going to have everyone put in their bets for tonight. Now, I didn't realize, I should have realized this would turn off once the game started, although I think we can still scroll and see it. What we're going to do, something new we're going to try. We're going to have everyone put in their parlay for tonight. Let me pull up the sheet here, and here it is. So I'm going to drop this link in the Zoom chat here. Everyone's going to pick 3, and we're going to come up with some fun stuff for the winner and the loser. Maybe gets to like make somebody wear a Cowboys jersey, or I'd really like to make it a little more than that. My friend was suggesting that we wax a strip of hair every time we get one of our parlay bets wrong, and I'm like, oh, I don't know about if I'm totally up for that. But here's the link to that Google Doc, and we'll go over it in just a minute. Don't worry if I went through that kind of fast. But if you want to start, thinking about what 3 players you want to bet on for tonight, and it's all just good fun and entertainment and conversation about the game. The Indiana-Toronto game has gone to its first commercial break here right now. And let's also just check in over at our YouTube. Let's make sure we have everyone who's here over in the YouTube as well. I'll put this link for you here. Make sure if you're on Zoom, you are also watching us on YouTube. We need every view. We need every like. It says we have 2 likes. So we're not going to call on anyone here in Zoom until they have liked and commented with who they're picking for tonight here in the YouTube chat. And we're going to trying to get the YouTube chat, more engaged here tonight because we want to be focused on the game. We don't want to, we don't want to be just answering questions all night. This isn't a talk show. If we want to do a talk show, we'll do that at another time and day. But for these games, we're really coming together to watch these games. So we want to enjoy these games, especially with March Madness coming up. That's one of the reasons I'm starting to tune into college more. Before football ended, I literally had not watched a college game all year. I even missed Duke versus UNC earlier this year. And I'm just starting to get dialed in. And we're going to really, if you're playing in any March Madness brackets, you're going to want to be here. We're going to have some experts on. We're going to be giving all our takes and doing research live on the air so that you can win your tournament, your bracket at home. And then we're also going to have a bracket. We're going to have some fun prizes. We're going to have a free tournament for everyone that joins us up here on Zoom coming up during March Madness. And we want to do something fun for conference tournament. We're going to do March Madness style brackets for the conference tournaments as well. I thought that would be a fun contest. So that's one of the reasons I'm interested in UNC. UNC has 2 players back from that Final Four team from 2 years ago now. Last year, the team really kind of fell apart. And but they're one of the teams that I'm really watching to see how they close out the year. If they stay hot in the ACC tournament, they're going to be one of my Final Four picks because they have a coach who's already been there. They have Davis, who's already led a team there 2 years. They have Baycott, a dominant big man, and a lot of good role players there already. I'm surprised to see Miami is hanging with them. All right, back over to our game that we're focused on tonight. It's 18-14. Seems to be in sync with my TV. It's always a little funny if the Gamecast is a little bit ahead of your what's on the TV, or if it's a little bit behind. It must depend on what channel. This game, of course, is on NBA TV. If you don't have NBA TV, then this is a great place to watch the game. They can't show the game live. You would get in trouble if anybody does that. So this is the next best thing where you get to see the game here. Siakam is coming home after this trade. I mean, he's was a title winner at the Raptors. I think that's exactly what Indiana needed. I'm going to go out on a limb and predict that I think Indiana can finish in the 2 seed in the East and can make the Eastern Conference Finals, where they'll rematch against my Celtics. But they won't win this time, because when they beat the Celtics in the in-season playoff, Porzingis didn't play for Boston, and Buddy Hield was actually the guy who killed us. I think trading Buddy Hield is really going to come back to haunt Indiana. They gave him away for nothing. He's been, he's really just a scorer, but he puts up points. He gets hot. and a streaky hot shooter like that can win you a few games in any playoff series. I think that they're going to regret that move. I think that was part of the salary cap move they needed to make room for Siakam. Because I look at this team without Siakam. If you take Siakam off this, I look at this team and I'm like, how'd they make their run in the in-season tournament, right? The only guy on there who, even start for Boston is Halliburton. So the rest of that team, I'm not real impressed with.
Turner's good, man. You don't like Turner?
I mean, Turner's a defender, he's a solid defender, Kendrick Perkins type guy in the middle, but he's never really been a scorer or a winner or, gone anywhere, in my opinion. So we're at 21-18. Let's get some more takes. If anybody else had takes on this game pregame, we'll go to Bobby. What are you looking for in this game, Bobby?
Good evening, everybody. So I just want to say, Greg, you guys are sitting on the couch and that's awesome. I'm at the freaking bar, okay? I have an amazing home and I'm at the bar. So thanks everyone for coming to my bar. Okay. So my opinion is this, I watch a lot of college and I look for stars. So to me, the NBA is a star-driven league. That's just my opinion. I look at the Raptors roster, and they have a lot of good players that have the potential to go to the next level, but I've been waiting. RJ Barrett, high pick, waiting. Siakam, waiting. They have a lot, Olenek, waiting. I loved him in Boston, by the way, very tough. But I just don't see the star power. At least Indiana, I believe, has a star, and it's Halliburton. So when it all comes down to it, I'm going to pick them tonight. Plus, they're at home. I think Toronto's a solid team. I agree with whoever said that they could be scary in the playoffs. I do believe that. But on a night-in, night-out basis, especially coming playoff time, I just don't see the Raptors going to that next level until they get a star.
So you think you're saying Toronto could be scary? I was saying Indiana could be scary. Toronto.
Well, I think Indiana could be a favorite.
Right. Yeah, Toronto to me will be lucky to win a play-in game. They're still kind of young and building. I'd be shocked if they, make a run, if you wind up making the top 8, let alone could win a series against anybody.
Well, they have a winning record, so I think that they could get in and cause a little havoc.
Toronto's 21-36.
I think you're mixing up the Pacers, maybe.
You know what? Maybe too many beers.
Yeah.
I love that you're at the bar, though. I believe me, I already been thinking about this. I went today to Buffalo Wild Wings. Did you guys see it was free wing? It's National Wing Day, and they were giving away 6 free wings to everybody who wanted to come in. So I went in for my 6 free wings today. And it's funny, these 2 women sat down at the bar next to me, and I'm like, oh man, I couldn't wait to whip out hey, are you guys sports fans? Because I'm on a sports talk radio show, right? In fact, you guys, would you want to come on the show? I'm like, oh, this could be the ultimate pickup line, but we got to kind of get the show up to where we're ready to start bringing in people from the streets like that. But I'm already looking forward to that day. All right, let's just check our other game here. Carolina's holding the lead in the first, 21-19. Davis has 11 already. George is hot for Miami with 11. Looks like Nigel Pack's not playing again. They must be waiting, hoping he can come back from the tournament there. Miami really needs a winner. They're not even going to make the tournament unless they make a run. I like that we're covering some college and some pros. The college game that we did last week with Duke versus Miami has been our highest rated episode ever. I think our episodes are getting better every night in terms of our chemistry and who's on and people coming back again. So it was interesting to me that was our best game as opposed to, your last game being your best game. Alex, what do you got? What are you looking for in this game tonight? We're on mute still.
Yeah, I wasn't drinking today, but I was golfing, so I'm a little exhausted. But yes, I already gave my take. I was going to just kind of rebut your point, Greg. You mentioned Buddy Hield did carry them during that play-in tournament. I do remember that specifically. I mean, I think he averaged like 18 a game, which is pretty good, and he can hit the three. Um, I think though they will not they they will. I know you said you could see them being a 2 seed. Which anything can happen in these next 25 games when you can score 130 points a game like they seemingly do. But I think again it's going to come down to defense for them. And I can't see that happening, them getting a 2 seed. It would be interesting. They are a fun team to watch, but nevertheless, my point was I think, and I'm 90% sure they did add Doug McDermott back to their team, and everyone loves him in Indiana. They made a little bit of a run when they had Paul George, and he was on their and McDermott was on their team. That could be a guy you could also look for as a sleeper to kind of replace Buddy Hield's 3-point shooting and some scoring. So he'll be an interesting player. I'm pretty sure they added
They
him.
for
Take a
sure
look.
did. They did trade for McDermott.
They did.
I don't
Yeah,
know
they
if
got
he's been
McDermott back.
playing at all yet.
So yeah, look for him. He could be a little bit of a dark horse for them.
Yeah, good point. I mean, that guy can shoot, right? And neither team had anybody listed on their injury report. And I'm looking for this guy. They have Nayburn, I think is his name, from Vanderbilt. I don't see him listed here, so maybe he must be on the injury report. I'm pretty sure that they were talking him up. They were talking Mathurin up. Oh no, this Neinhardt is from Gonzaga, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't see the other guy, Neymar there. I'm not saying his name right either. But Scotty Barnes, to me, I'm impressed with Scotty Barnes. I think he should have been the #1 pick coming out that year. He's been the best all-star. If we were redrafting, obviously hindsight is always 2020, but this year they really handed off the team to him. They traded or lost in free agency. Their star guard there went to Houston. Fred VanVleet left. And so this has been Barnes's team this year, and they just got to get some more pieces in there. But I like that trade. I like Quickly. He's had some games where I've really seen him light it up in the past. All right, so we're at 25-24 right now. All right, so let's do this. We're going to go through the spreads for today's game. I think they're all still saved here perfectly, so hopefully you guys can still see that on the screen. I'm going to put this sheet in here, and what I want you to do is, if you see here, like I did, let me mark this in orange. This is where you put your name. We're not doing anything for this game. Towards the end of tonight's game in the second half, we're going to make our picks for the 10 p.m. game coming up tonight, Heat versus Kings. And when I say picks, we're picking player over-unders. That's all I'm allowed to do right now in Florida is bet players. We can't bet actual games. That's all about to change March 11th. Can't wait for that. But so put your name in here in the sheet. Let me drop the link into the sheet and then put your picks in here. And then if you want to give us a take on who you're picking and why, you can use the Zoom raise of hand. And I'll go through all the picks in just a minute here, because you probably won't be able to pull this up now that the games have already started. And if you want to join us, if you're watching us on YouTube and want to join us on Zoom, we'd love to have you here. Let's see. There's the link to that Google Sheet. This will be a fun way of tracking. One of the things we talked about in one of our previous episodes was how one of the reasons we bet is we just like to prove it to ourselves. We like to prove that we know more than the game. And we brainstormed, hey, it'd be cool if we posted our bets every night and kind of saw, could prove to each other. And maybe then I wouldn't have to bet so much money and would donate so much money if I'm just instead putting my bet up here with you guys. We do want to come up with something fun as a contest. If anybody has any ideas, something that, maybe the loser has to do something like wear a Cowboys jersey or something crazy, and something maybe for the winner as well. Here's the Zoom link, by the way. If you're, let me make sure you guys are seeing the screen. Okay. Here's the Zoom link. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you come over here and join us on YouTube, by the way, too. There's still some people here that are in Zoom. that have not joined us on YouTube. And it's really important we get all of our engagement going over on YouTube. So I'll put that link in the Zoom chat for you as well. And let's just check in on our Carolina game. They're starting to pull away now, 27-22. Davis, wow, 18 of their 27 points already. This guy is just red hot. Love seeing that, but like to see them develop, some other players for their tournament run here. You're not going to be able to rely on one guy like that. All right, let's go through the propositions for this game we're watching here tonight. I'll kind of go through each of these here, and you can pick out which ones you want to do for this new test segment. Halliburton's points are 21.5. To me, that seems pretty low. The way he was shooting it in the All-Star game, he was lighting it up. Obviously, we can't do these Q1 or halftime ones. Just do the full game props here. Rebounds and assists is 15.5. I know Halliburton leads the league with 11.5 assists per game, so that seems pretty solid. That's his assist number there is 11.5. That's exactly his average. So to me, that's like a 50-50 bet. Points and assists, points and rebounds, steals 1.5. The usual kind of crazy stuff down here. I would recommend you stay in the mainstream stuff in terms of discussion of these things. All right, let's go on to Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes, 20.5. I think he averages above that. So I'm kind of surprised if this is a high scoring, it's supposed to be a high scoring game. I think I like that going over. Although I find most people, when they sit home and watch a game, they take the overs. So if you're actually betting to win, usually the odds are better for you taking the unders. Plus, in the NBA, I find a lot of times the players get pulled in the last couple minutes and the unders wind up landing on these. So 7.5 rebounds, that seems kind of high for him. That's only a higher. Okay. 6.5 assists, 15 assists and rebounds. I guess he's like a point forward. So that seems, that seems pretty good. 0.5 blocks. All right. Next up is Siakam. Siakam, pretty good with his double doubles when he was in Toronto. If I was betting, I like that at 3-1. 22.5. I don't know what he's averaging at Indy. Someone would have to look that up to see if that is a good number for him, right? He's kind of new on Indy, so there's a lot of risk in there, I think. 32.5 points, rebounds, assists, 6.5 rebounds, 9.5 rebounds and assists. Miles Turner is up next. Let's see, what do we got on him? 17.5 points per game. I guess he's scoring more than I thought he was. I might be judging him kind of more based on his reputation than his actual stats. If that's his number, that's a decent number for a starting center. So good points by Will there. 7.5 on the rebounds, 18.5 on rebounds and assists. Emmanuel quickly. I also think it's interesting. They tend to put these players in order of who they think is best and most popular. So it's interesting to me that quickly, who, to me was kind of a throw-in in that trade from New York, is ranked as the fourth best player in this game. Quickly 18.5, pretty high. He's kind of a gunner, but when he gets hot, man, I've seen some games where he scorched the other team going back to last year. All right, RJ Barrett. I haven't seen what he's been doing since he came to Toronto. So unless you've been watching that or going to look that up real quick, seems like he'd be a risky player to bet on since it's a lot of new situations here for him. Let's see who's up next here is Podol. Jacob Podol.
RJ he's not getting that. What was he at? 20?
RJ 20.5.
He's not getting that. He's at 0.
Well, yeah, it's true. We're at the second quarter here, so we're at a little bit of an advantage for these, but that's okay. I just thought this would be a fun segment. Yeah, so if you want to start filling these out, almost everyone's done them already. That's fantastic. Let's use the Zoom raise of hand if you want to give us a take on why you made your picks. I'll just finish going through the next couple here. We're already into the second quarter, so didn't Didn't think we'd get into this so fast. Mathurin is here, 15.5 points. Gary Trent, 12.5. Obi Toppin, is he even playing? 7.5. Bruce Bowen, key player from Denver that came over. Grady Dick, one and done guy out of Kansas last year. Kelly Olnick, Andrew Neimhard, our Gonzaga guy. All right, so let's close out on these. Here's mine. I'll give you my takes on this coming up. Let's go first to Doug on this.
Yeah. The Halliburton getting a double double feels real easy to me. He has been the point and assist king this year. He is basically new Chris Paul. He's going to lead in assists and he's going to get a solid mid 20 points. And that's not going to change against a pretty bad Raptors backcourt defense. I feel like that's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, I like that. A lot of logic in that. Now that you point that out, I think that is a no-brainer.
Yeah. At first, I had Barnes over 20 and a half. Then I thought about it for a second. I thought about what he's good at, and what he's good at is driving to the basket and kicking out for his assists and driving and getting buckets that way. And against this Pacers defense, that's going to be very tough with Miles Turner in the middle and Pascal Siakam waiting for him. It's going to be very hard for him to do what he likes. I doubt he's really going to take a big offensive load today, especially with Emmanuel quickly probably wanting to show out a little bit, probably show off and show why he should probably be the number one scoring option for this year. Maybe not this game, but over the course of this rebuilding Raptor season, I imagine he's going to show that. And tonight, I just don't see Barnes getting over 21 points.
Yeah, okay. Very interesting take on Barnes. I kind of, if you notice mine, I went over on Barnes, so we're kind of head to head on that. And as I hit on, I just think it's about his average, and it's a running gun game, but you make a lot of points about him kicking it out. Cool. And then Siakam at 6.5.
Yeah, I have the over on his rebounds. He's a pretty solid rebounder. He's not a guy that's going to consistently get you double doubles with rebounds, but he is a guy who's going to be in that 7 to 8 range. Tonight, I think he's going to do pretty well in that department. These are two teams that play very fast. There's going to be a lot of misses. I imagine there's going to be a lot of opportunity for him to get over 6.5 rebounds. He's already at 2, so we're not too far away to begin with. And as we just get farther and farther in the game, he's going to be playing a little more. If it stays close like it is right now, he's going to be playing a bunch, and he's going to have a lot of opportunity for it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I can see that with Siakam and the rebounds. Interesting. Our game, the NBA game, is at a commercial at 32 all, and our college game was just 30 all at a commercial. Now all of a sudden it's updated, and North Carolina's gone up 34-30 on this. Alex, what are you looking for in your picks? You're on mute still.
0 for 2 on that. I'm looking for all of them to hit, obviously. But I think I talked about it before. The Pacers Raptors under 245.5, that's a lot of points. And I think like with the Pacers focusing more on defense for their playoff run, we'll hopefully see some improvement there. And I was looking at that line too. Some sports books have it at like 248 too. Some have it all the way down to 233 or 243. So I think 245 I think that's a solid bet. It looks like we're on pace too for the under. Next bet, I like the Heat Kings over 224.5. The Kings I think they're on a back-to-back, where it looked like they underperformed a little bit. Well, actually, they beat the Clippers last night. I forgot how many points they made, but on the back-to-back, I think you can put up 112 points or more there, and the Kings can really score. So
Yeah.
that's a feel bet. I like that bet. And then finally the prop bet I have is De'Aaron Fox over 9.5 rebounds and assists combined. And sometimes I don't really have any stats to back that up. It just felt right. You just saw it and it clicked. It just felt right. So we'll see
Speaking
if
of
my
feeling
gut
right,
is
I just want
correct.
to chime in because Kelly Olnick was running the point there and just threw a sweet alley-oop to somebody. I don't know who that was, but I hope everybody saw that. It's I wonder why they had Olenek up top, but that brought out the big defender and cleared out the baseline for him. Really nice play there. All right, cool. I like those bets from Alex. Just to be clear, and it's our first time trying this, so I probably wasn't that clear in the directions. I was envisioning we would pick 3 player props from the game we're actually watching. That way you have something to cheer for in the game we're watching, and we can have some kind of competition.
Oh, I apologize. Sorry about that.
With this. Yeah, and then we are gonna do the Heat Kings game. We'll take 3 players from that. In the second half, we'll analyze that game and make some picks for that game. And what's great about that is we'll all be given our insights before the game tips off, so we can actually learn from each other and maybe make some smart bets. Also, I wanted to keep it as just player props for now, because we kind of already talked about who we thought's going to win and over unders, and also because I don't have those as choice. I can't bet those in my state. So we're all just feeling this out, but that was kind of my vision of what we would do with these. But let's go to Ernest. What do you got from your picks here? You like Halliburton? Why do you like Halliburton?
So for me personally, like when I usually do bet on games and player props, I usually it's simple for me. I usually look at their averages, how many they average like during that against that team, to see like whether I want to go a little bit lower or higher. So I saw for Siakam, like he only played 1 game against Toronto, but when he did, he scored 23. So like to me personally, like, I feel as though that he's probably going to score a little bit lower than that. So I at least put him for 20 plus. And you did say about the I did have the Pacers money line, but I'm going to change that to Siakam having more than 7 assists. I mean,
Okay.
yes, 7 assists.
7 assists? Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, Olnick just had another great pass, by the way. He's looking like who's a great Raptors point guard out there? Kyle Lowry. He's had 2 great assists in a row there. Ernest, while we're here, I know you follow a lot of NBA. What's kind of your take on Siakam going to Indiana? Siakam has a ring. He's a long-term all-star, right? How do you one of the things I feel is so important for a team to succeed is like everybody needs to know their role. Like in Boston, Tatum is the man. Brown is Robin, but he knows he's Robin. He's great in his own way, but it's Batman and Robin. Everybody else knows their roles really good this year. So it's one of the problems I had with this team in past years. Marcus Smart would start shooting at the end of the game, and it's like swing the ball to Tatum. He's the guy I want taking the shot at the end of the game. Know your role. I felt like that cost them some games in the playoffs. So, and clearly everyone needs to know like whose team this is. So do you think is Siakam just going to come in and be like, this is your team, Halliburton? Or how do you think that conversation's going to go, Ernest?
So like for the way I see it, and I'm gonna try to make this as short as possible or simple as possible. When Toronto won that championship in 2019, like that was really a one-time thing. And once Kawhi left, once they really demolished that team, it was Siakam's team, but there wasn't no identity. I thought there wasn't no identity to the team. Like nobody can really say like what Toronto, like who's their identity. Like a lot of these top teams, they have an identity. Like Golden State, they have shooters. Boston, like they're a young team who's championship ready. They have all-star caliber players, they have all-pro caliber players. Toronto doesn't have really an identity. So for Siakam, yes, he has the potential to be a top tier player, but he had to go somewhere where they have an identity and he really has just a role. Because when he was in Toronto, like he was the guy. Like
That didn't work out. And right,
even with Fred VanVleet and all these.
So I think you make it so like this Indiana team, clearly they already had an identity from their in-season tournament run. Halliburton was the leader, clearly. I mean, he was like blowing up like an MVP candidate early in the year. You know, and so from your point of view, then for Siakam, that's where he's good. He was a good number 2 under Kawhi. Where he struggles is when he has to be the leader. And so you think he'll come in and, you know, just be the number 2 and be happy with that with Halliburton.
Yeah, in order for him to be successful at what he does, like he had to let Halliburton know, like, look, even though I'm here, this is still your team. You have to let me know what you want my role to be. Because Siakam already has a championship. Halliburton doesn't have 90% of that Pacers team doesn't have a championship. So they don't know what it takes to really get to a championship. Siakam has that championship pedigree to a certain extent to where he can lead in a way mentally this Pacers team to tell them, look, this is what y'all got to do to get to where we're trying to go to the finals.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
like,
makes a lot of
he's a
sense.
leader
Yeah.
to a certain extent.
Let's hope that Siakam's attitude coming in here and he doesn't try to you know, try to be the man. Because I've heard some talks about that and how that could go either way and make or break their success here. I think there's some debate if Siakam was even the man when you know, after what am I drawing a blank here? After the Claw left, right? They still had Van Fleet, they still had Lowry back then. Those guys, I think, were the guys taking the end of
Like I said, yeah, when you don't have
games, even after
like
Kawhi.
you don't if you can't tell me what the identity of that team is, it doesn't matter who the guy is. Like if you can't tell me what your main goal is to get out of winning games or how you go about winning games on a consistent basis, it doesn't matter who you have on the team. You guys can't tell me what you're trying to do. Then like there's no real identity to the team.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. To me, an identity is they have to know who's really leading the team, who's taking the last shot. You know, by all means, if you get double teamed and in a bad spot, you pass the ball. You got to trust your teammates, but there can only be one leader of every great team. All right, let's continue here. We're closing in on halftime. At halftime, we'll circle up if anybody has any takes on what they've been seeing in the game. You know, partly what I'm trying to do with this format is you know, for us to get to watch more of the game. And then also at halftime, we're going to dive into your 1 minute takes on any topic you guys want to share on here today. And our goal is to kind of let you guys really shine on topics outside of here. Let's just hop back over to our college game. Have they gone to the half now? I believe they have. Yeah, 37-32. So Carolina leading, on pace to cover. Davis has 21 points at the half, but Miami's hanging around at least a little better than they did against Duke last week. So maybe we'll wind up with a close game there. All right, let's go next to Tyler. What did you take in your props, Tyler? And go ahead and tell us about what you took here.
Yeah, I changed the Pacers money line. I'll get to that in a second, but we're talking about Pascal Siakam a lot. I have him going plus 6.5 rebounds. I think that's going to be a really big part of this game. The Raptors are 13th in rebounds in the league, and Toronto actually out-rebounded Indiana by 20 last week, and they still lost by 2. And then they also out-rebounded Indiana the last time they played the first time earlier in the season, and they only won by 2. So I think rebounding is going to be a very big part of this game. So that's also why I have.
What you just said made it sound like Toronto's better at rebounding, and Siakam's on Indy now. Right, so you're saying Siakam's going to lead Indy in rebounding or get to 6.5, right?
Yeah, Siakam's going to lead Toronto in rebounding, and then Miles Turner is going to lead Indy in rebounding. Because I think I'm going to go over 7 rebounds, just because I think they both need to cover the boards to be able to do that. And then I think Scotty Barnes can go over 21 points.
Okay. Yes, Barnes over. I like that. I took that too. Siakam, though, he got traded. He's on Indy now. That's what we were saying. This is his coming home game, which should make this pretty interesting. But I still think it's a pretty good bet that he'll go over his 6.5 and his rebounds there. I think he's usually good for a double-double. I just the only reason I didn't take anything on that, as I haven't seen much on him. Also, you'll notice I actually went under on my Siakam points and rebounds total. I find like these revenge games is everybody is expecting the revenge team player to do great against their old team, and thus the line tends to get inflated because everybody's betting on it, everybody's watching it. And just like if everybody's probably taking the overs, I mean, it's a fun night to sit back and root for the overs, right? You bet the unders, it's like a nightmare. You're wishing for people to miss shots, but that can sometimes work to your advantage. So that was kind of my strategy in taking the Siakam under here. Let's check in with 4 minutes to go, how these guys are doing. So Barnes only has 4 points. We're almost at halftime here. That's not looking good for all of us. Siakam, 8 points, 2 rebounds. Turner's leading them here, obviously. Halliburton only with 2 points, too. Maybe we should have looked at this before we started. Let me refresh. Is that a refresh there, or is that really how this game's going? Because it's a pretty high scoring game. 51-45. Kelly Olynyk's had a few nice passes. Pretty balanced attack from Toronto. And there we go. Siakam's got 11 here. Doug, did you have something else to add on that?
I actually wanted to make a point about the game right now and point out 2 players on the Raptors who I don't think we've talked about at all, who are actually making a major contribution right now, and that is Ochai Agbaji and Grady Dick. They both are, Ochai is +8 and Grady is +5, which isn't the best metric, obviously, because that can also depend on who's on the floor, but they also have combined for 13 points right now. Grady hit a big 3 from 22 out, and Agbaji is just an all-around threat who is making life easier on offense for a really young Raptors team right now, and I just wanted to give some flowers to those guys.
Yeah, appreciate that. Good call out. Grady Dick was at Kansas last year, and I loved watching him play there. And I think he'll be a solid NBA player. It's funny. Kansas seems to have this strategy of bringing in one and done player and then having like this core team around him. They're the same team this year as last year. I was looking at that. They have a lot of guys back. They have 2 bigs and their point guard back from that national championship team 2 years ago. I know we're not really talking college yet, but it seems like their plan is to have a core and then bring in one and done player, which is different than like Kentucky or Duke, who tries to build a whole team of one and done players. Let's just look at some more of what you guys took here tonight, see if there's anything that kind of stands out as particularly interesting or worth going into.
Real quick, there seems to be a little bit of confusion. Which video chat do you want us in? Because they have the UNC one and the Indy Toronto one. Which chat do we want to work with?
Yeah, we're primarily talking about the Indiana Toronto game. We're trying to have a sports bar vibe and also check in on the UNC Miami game. But the chat that you would want to be in is the Pacers, this one here that you're in, Dave. All right, everyone's got this one in here. We're still only at 3 likes, so if everybody could make sure to come over and like the post. It says there's only 6 of us watching, but there's more than that on Zoom. So we really need everyone to be over there on YouTube. Don't want to have to reconcile who's here on Zoom and not here on YouTube, but we need to grow the audience, right? Our goal every night, by the way, the reason we're centered around a game is that every night there's several hundred people that go online to watch the game of the night. And we want some of those people to discover us and come over here and watch us. So that's kind of what we're doing here. Oops. Well, I don't know what we got a whiteboard control here.
We're being hacked.
Is that even possible on Zoom?
Absolutely.
Well, let's just get back over to our game then. All right. We got 2 minutes to go right now. in our Pacers Raptors game. Get ready with your takes if you guys want to use the Zoom raise of hand to be in the queue for our takes. We're going to do 1 minute takes on anything in current event sports that is happening. I especially love when it's stuff in your local market, stuff other people don't know about. We want controversial takes. We want things we can turn into reels, especially if you're looking to join the team. We can't just come on here and say what they're saying on ESPN. We can't just come on here and be solid sports fans. We can. You're welcome to come do that and have fun. But if you're looking to join the team, then we need takes that are going to help us grow the channel, takes that are going to help us that are unique to your hometown, so that we can grow the audience. So that's what we're going to be doing in just a minute here. I'm going to try to keep the whiteboard off. All right, what's going on here? We got a minute left to go. We got a jump ball coming up. I love that the NBA still has jump balls. I referee high school and college basketball. I haven't done college in a while. And having the alternating possession there is just it's just really a pain in the takes one of the most exciting fun plays out of the game. (57-53) with Indiana and Toronto. 57-54 on the game cast. I guess my TV is just a little bit behind. Is your guys, are you in sync with the game cast, or are you a little bit behind the game cast?
I'm a little behind as well. I got 57-53 right now on TV.
Oh, now we got our person here. Hey, you haven't made it till you start to get your first hater.
Yes.
If you're not getting haters, you're not
doing your job.
Yes, exactly. You're not speaking loud enough. All right. I love it. Cool. Well, let's we got 1 minute 11 left to go. 57-55 now is what my TV has. Why is it 57-54? It's a little, there we go. Now it's caught up. We'll hit refresh here. So what I've seen in the first half here is a lot of our stars have been kind of underachieving. Siakam and Turner, those are the inside guys for the Pacers, have been dominating. And so, I mean, that says a lot to where Toronto's weakness is on the inside, is on the boards, although Siakam only has 2 boards there. And so that seems to be the trend of where this game is going. Indiana is staying in the game inside, and Toronto's hitting a lot of their J's on the outside. All right, let's do, if anybody has a take on what they've seen in the first half here, let's do those first. Then we're going to go into your 1 minute takes. I'm really excited to hear, to let you guys shine and talk about, what you came here to talk about. So we want to be sure to get takes from everybody on that. And if there isn't any halftime takes, let's go ahead and dive right into that. So Bobby, you had your hand up. Go ahead and give us your 1 minute take.
All right. Well, you guys, I just decided I'd take and break the ice. So this is my 1 minute take. It has nothing to do with my hometown or anything else, but it has something to do dear with my heart. Okay. I want to talk about running back disrespect. Okay. So I hate that NFL teams are just not wanting to pay running backs, even though, let me ask you this. Who touches the ball more than the quarterback, except the quarterback? The running back. Who runs? Who tackles? Who blocks? Who maybe throws? I mean, any good team has either a great running back, a solid quarterback, a running back, or a running back by committee, right? But they want to give these guys pennies. Why? Because they get hurt all the time. Well, guess what? Who's the toughest SOB on the field? It's the running back. I am biased because I played running back. And trust me, I was the toughest SOB on the field. Okay. So this is what I think should happen. The NFL should guarantee if you're labeled a running back, your whole contract should be guaranteed, like the NBA, like baseball. I feel like it's only fair. These guys are getting cut so way short. I think they should be allowed not only guarantee running back helmet cam, that they just have like their own channel, like the Red Zone, that you just watch their vision as they're running. I think that honestly would be really awesome. I also think they should have special privileges, mainly because of the CTE and the wear and tear. I just feel like they're not getting enough special treatment because of the jobs that they do. It's almost like they're a dirty wash rag. They get washed and then tossed. Look at Derrick Henry. I mean, who's tougher than Derrick Henry? I don't know anybody tougher than Derrick Henry. I don't know anybody tougher than Emmitt Smith. I don't know anybody tougher than Earl Campbell, Jim Brown, Walter Payton. I can keep going. And that's my take. And I believe that, and I'm upset about it.
Awesome. That's a great take, Bobby. We appreciate your insights on running backs. I'm going to respond to that. And what I want to have each person do here, after each of you does a take, go over to the YouTube chat and just respond in the YouTube chat. If you agree, you can just put a thumbs up. If you've got kind of a counterpoint, go ahead and put that in the YouTube chat. And if we see good counterpoints in the YouTube chat, we'll bring those people on here in Zoom to to go into that. And I think kind of what's leading into Bobby's good take tonight is that Jacobs and Barkley did not get their franchise tags. In case you guys missed that in the news today, both those players were expected to get franchise tag. Maybe that means they're going to get long-term contracts. I tend to doubt it. While I agree with everything in your take about the importance of running backs, I think it's just a supply and demand, issue, that there are a lot of people that are capable at running backs these days. And that's what's driving down the wages, for running backs. I do especially like your idea of having like a running back cam, or like your own channel where you get to watch the running backs. I think that's what it's coming to with the streaming service. People are really hating on the NFL for going to streaming. They're saying the Super Bowl is going to be on streaming in 2 years. I think that's going to empower us to have like all kinds of different views, like Bobby was getting at. I think like if your favorite player is Steph Curry and you just want to see what he sees the whole game, like that's what it'll be able to come to in streaming soon, is my take on that. Let's hop over to the YouTube chat and just see if anybody had any responses to that. We'll also check in on our game. UNC is underway going into the second half here. And they're still at halftime here in the Pacers. And let's see here. We had a take about I disagree from the useful backs can be found in the later rounds of drafts for pennies on the dollar. Running backs are a dime a dozen. Like teachers don't get paid enough. That's so true and funny. So definitely a good controversial topic here about running backs getting paid and earning their takes. Exactly the kind of take we want to have on this show. So great job, Bobby. We'll circle back around to that topic if we have time, but I want to make sure everyone gets their 1 minute take in tonight. This will probably roll us right into the third quarter here. So we're just about wrapping up halftime. All right, next up is Will. Go ahead and give us your take, Will.
I'm struggling with this one, man. I could do a lot of takes. The one I'm gonna do though, because I pushed it a little bit. It's been quiet. I don't know if you've caught it, but I think the Charlotte Hornets are in a good place right now. I don't know if my Charlotte fan is here, but they've won 4 of their last 5 games. They've won 2, 4, 5 of their last 6. And I think they're built for the future. I think they have some solid players with the ball and Brandon Miller, even though LeVar Ball's kind of weird. He's kind of slowed down a little bit, thankfully. But I think they got a good combo with Ball and Miller. And then they got Miles Bridges. And then they got a guy named PJ Washington and Nick Richards. And they're both a little young too. So I think they can make the playoffs. The East is kind of weak, not this year, but I think they got the potential to be good. And they could be a surprise team, and I also think the Pistons could be a surprise team coming up. I think both of them are in a good place, better than people think.
All right, well, let's have responses to that in the YouTube chat. So are the Hornets a team on the rise? They have won 3 out of their last 4. I literally had to look that up. I'm like, let me fact check Will here to see if
No,
that's
5 of
right.
their last 6.
They've won 5 there. They lost to the Warriors on Friday, but other than that, they have been winning. Granted, it's against the Trailblazers, the Jazz, the Hawks. They beat the Pacers, the Grizzlies. Let me
He's
just
dealt a
click
lot
into
with
one of these
injuries.
box scores here and see like what are they doing? How are they doing this? I wonder if this all correlates with them trading for my Celtics guy, Grant Williams. Grant Williams was a winner in Boston. He got kind of a bad rep in Dallas, or kind of fell out there, probably
A lot
because
of it was Ball being hurt. Ball's been hurt a lot of this season. He's a great point guard. I think
yeah.
he's been hurt. People don't know how good he really is.
Yeah, Ball. I mean, he led them to the playoffs a couple years ago, right? So if Ball's been out hurt, I could see that. Honestly, I look at this roster and I'm like, I don't even know who these guys are on Charlotte here. If we have time, we can pull it up here. I'm like, yeah,
So yeah, they're young for sure.
Trey Mann. I mean, I thought it was Terrence Mann. I'm like, isn't he on the Clippers? Cody Martin. I keep thinking like, oh, is that the guy from the Heat? Nope, that's his brother, right? They got a lot of players that it's like, is this the guy I'm thinking of? And then it's not.
A lot of them are averaging like 5 to 10 points though,
Yeah,
which
you know,
isn't a lot, but yeah,
and
they're
Brandon
big
Miller.
men. So Richardson, Ball, and Miller, are kind of their 3 guys.
Yeah. Well, Miller, he was number 2 overall, right? If you get that kind of pick, I mean, you're expected to be a great player. He had a great year in college, so that's 2 between him and Ball. That's 2 top 3 picks they have right there.
And
That
he's averaging 17, Miller.
yeah. So those 2 are a nice core. It seems like things are getting better. Is Michael Jordan still running things over there? Does anybody know, or did he finally?
No, that's why we're better. He's not good.
Maybe that's why. Yeah, that's what I
Exactly,
was
Ed.
getting at.
So I'm interested in basketball, so I'm just here to hear what you're talking about. It's Adam. Me. Hi.
Yeah, cool, Adam. No problem. We're glad to have you on. Let's go to Jeremiah. Go ahead and give us your first take.
My take, I want to talk about the Bengals free agency this year. We've probably all seen today we franchised T. Higgins, one of 3 players to be franchised so far, along with Brian Burns in Carolina, and I believe Antoine Winfield in Tampa. We also have 2 other receivers that will be free agents, and Tyler Boyd and Trenton Irwin. We're losing Jonah Williams at right tackle, our number 1 corner, and Chidobe Uwuze, and DJ Reader in the middle, although he tore his quad in week 15 against Minnesota. I'm hoping we get some big pickups. Where's my other note? Yeah, I'm unlikely. I would like Patrick Queen from Baltimore. He's also a free agent. I don't see that being the way we go. I'd like to keep T long term. Pair him up with Jamar Chase. And then something that is reasonably maybe get Jeff Okudah out of Atlanta to help the secondary.
Yeah, he'd be a nice signing. All right, so let's respond to Jeremiah's post here. Put either a thumbs up if you agree. Again, we need the engagement in the YouTube chat. It's important that everyone is participating, engaging, especially if you're looking to join the team here. Shout out to David, by the way, who's been putting in like 3 comments on each thing, and they're all good comments too. That's exactly what we want and are looking at. And now let's kind of take a look at Jeremiah and get his take on the Bengals. It's cool to have somebody here from Cincinnati. Obviously Joe Burrow coming back is the key. Let's start there. Burrow's had major injuries 2 out of his 4 years in the league, right? That's not a good direction to things. And really, has me questioning whether this is somebody you can build a franchise around, or is he going to wind up like Andrew Luck, kind of, had his 1 year run and is done. What are you seeing or hearing about Burrow that, indicates, he's somebody that's going to be able to compete long term?
Well, we're hoping he stays healthy here. What we do know is that the 2 seasons he finished the season, he finished in the AFC Championship game or better. He's the one quarterback other than Tom Brady to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoff. And I think with him healthy, we're as dangerous as anybody. Granted, he's got to be healthy. I don't like Jake Browning taking us to the promised land.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, as we saw last year. And I'm with you. That's why I think they need to invest in the O-line. I don't necessarily know that they have weaknesses, but you got to protect your asset. Your asset is Burrow, and he seems like he's one hit away from getting knocked out. He's certainly done a lot in his first 2 years here. And to me, the chemistry with him and Chase has been off the charts since college. You got to lock up Chase for a long-term contract. T. Higgins, I'm not really sold on him, to be honest. I'm surprised they franchised him. I wouldn't want him back at that price. I think he's a big name and had about 3 years ago, he had a really big year. These last 2 years, granted, I only watch him from fantasy football perspective. In one of my leagues, he got cut this year in the first month of fantasy football. Like, he was doing that bad. Somebody, cut him. He was certainly a disappointment. He was getting drafted in the early third round of fantasy drafts. So I don't know that giving him big money is a smart move, as opposed to, putting that money somewhere else and then drafting a wide receiver. It's a super deep draft for receivers.
Yeah, it is.
And maybe one of those Ohio State kids would fit in really nice in Cincinnati, right? Probably not going to get Harrison, but that other one, I forget what his name is. But you like T. Higgins? You're glad they are bringing him back?
I'm definitely glad. They seem to have a good rapport with one another. When Jamar Chase was out, T really stepped up. And speaking to whoever cut T in your fantasy league, it was a very slow start, but that was a lot of Burrow too. He came off the calf injury early. Cleveland and Baltimore both played awful. We beat the Rams on Monday night the week after, but then another total choke job against Tennessee before he started getting rolling. And we saw him getting healthy against San Francisco. I think we played them as well as anybody all year. And then Baltimore on Thursday night goes down, and that was a wrap. That was the season.
Yeah, I forgot about that calf injury Burrow had going into the season. And I think you're right. That probably made Higgins look bad. Burrow wasn't at full strength. But that also goes back to my point that he's actually had 3 injuries in the last 2 years now. If you count the calf and the arm, that's definitely going to be a concern. All right. Well, cool. We appreciate your take on the Bengals. Let's go next to Doug. Doug, go ahead and give us your first take.
Yeah, so I'm going to give my 1 minute take, and I'm going to try to actually make it 1 minute. We'll see how well I do. Oh.
Nice.
So I'm here to talk about America's favorite sport, soccer, America's favorite sportsman, refs, and America's favorite topic to talk about, labor disputes. So recently, the MLS has been in a dispute with Pro. Pro is the organization that handles all of the refereeing for North American pro soccer, Division I level soccer, on our American soccer pyramid. And right now, there is a referee lockout, and we have begun the season with replacement referees in a major sports league in America again. And based off of the first weekend, it is going exactly like the last time we had lockout referees in a major sports league in America. There was nonsense calls everywhere. They didn't know what they were doing. VAR was even worse than it usually is, something that MLS fans already hate because of its piss poor implementation into the league. And now you're also fighting against really reasonable asks from the pro union. So it's ridiculous for MLS fans right now.
Yeah, if we all remember the NFL refs when they were striking a few years back, how bad that was. I don't think it lasted that long. So hopefully this MLS lockout is not going to last that long. Are the refs just looking for? Well, did you say it's a lockout? I'm not familiar. So they
It's a strike. The referees are striking. They have lockout's probably not the right term for what they're doing because games aren't locked out. They're still playing
technically,
games.
right? The owners lock you out if they don't like you or don't agree to things. So, but the referees are striking. They want more money.
They want better conditions and they want more money. They actually put it to a vote. They originally didn't even want to put it to a vote because it was such a garbage proposal towards them. They don't even fly, they fly coach, they don't fly business class, they don't get compensated properly, they don't have proper time recovery in between games and flying in between games. MLS notoriously for soccer is the hardest traveling league because of how big the United States and Canada is and how much just travel you have to do. It's one of the worst leagues when it comes to that, and that also applies to the refs. So they actually rejected the most recent deal by 98.5%. So 98.5% of 99% of refs that belong to pro, 99% of refs that belong to pro voted on the agreement, and 98.5% rejected it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, that's so what are they going to do then? I mean, so what do you see as a solution to this?
Well, honestly, the solution is to just pay them fair compensation. That is our solution here. But we have a lot of greedy owners who don't care. They just got a giant billion-dollar deal from Apple, and they don't want to spread that at all. Half of it apparently went to Messi, so maybe they don't have anything to give. But it's really just piss poor that a major league in America has treated their a very important part of the game. I know we hate referees. I hate them as well, but they're a very important part of the game, and you want top referees. So you need to just pay them fair compensation. That's the goal here. That is the plan. It needs to be.
Yeah, I'm with you. So let's respond in the chat here with the thumbs up if you like that take from Doug. Again, we want to have engagement with everyone in the YouTube chat. And hard to really disagree with you on it, right? But I think it's a great topic that you're bringing attention and awareness to. Myself, I am a high school basketball and football referee. I thought about soccer because my daughter played soccer, middle school and high school. And I thought, it would be a good way for me to learn the game and help her. But I'm like, those guys run nonstop. Like that is not going to be fun. Compared to basketball or football. It's definitely a hard sport to officiate. And officiating in general is a very high pressure, very hard sport. You don't want people feeling like they're underpaid. It's one of those things at my level, you don't do it for the money, you do it because you love the game and but you want people at their best. So appreciate that take, Doug. Let's go next to Drew Rogers. Go ahead and give us your take. And let's just check in on our game because they did start up this second half here. So let's all keep an eye on this while we're listening to the takes. As we get into the fourth quarter, I'd like to get some takes from you guys on what you're seeing and what you're predicting is going to happen in this game. So our goal is to kind of keep one eye on the game, enjoying that, and listening to these takes from each other. Go ahead, Drew.
All right, so my take. So I was watching an All-Star game and probably like a lot of y'all, I was pretty bored of it. So to fix it, let's say, so the skills competition, let's start it off right. Don't have them go through cones and whatnot. Have them go one-on-one to really determine their real skills. So like have the top 10 players or so, put them in a bracket. March Madness feel to it to get the weekend started off. And then as far as the 3-point contest, I like what they did with Curry and Sabrina. So if you could do that, like kind of like how they do in college, they have like the top girls and then the top men. They go at it. The girls go against the girls, men go against the men. Then they go against each other at the end to determine who's the best shooter out of them. And then for the dunk contest, I mean, really, it's just gonna take a starter saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do it." Like, let's say LeBron say 40 years old, I want to do a dunk contest, or it don't got to be stars, just like known guys, like younger guys, like Jalen Green, people that got bounced that people would like to see. And then for the All-Star game, I would say back in the day, not back in the day, a couple years ago, they had something called the Elam ending where like you'll play the whole game, the whole first 3 quarters, and at the end of the fourth quarter they'll have like a target score. I don't know, it's like 15 or 20 points. Then they'll play to that for the rest of the game, so it wouldn't be any time. So I feel like that will help like the competitiveness and the defense, especially in the fourth quarter where the stars will be playing. So that's how I would fix All-Star Weekend.
Nice. All right. So let's respond to that take. If there's anything you agree with or want to add to that, go ahead and put that in the YouTube chat. And let's hop over there and just see what we got in our YouTube chats. We got some good takes from people here. I especially like, Drew, your idea of like doing something with brackets, having it, just some drama build and some March Madness effect to it, whether they, do the skills in brackets or the 3-point shooting in brackets. I've heard some people suggest they do a one-on-one tournament. I don't know if you've heard my take on this, was I'm a big fantasy sports guy, and that I believe that one of the reasons the NFL is so popular now is because of fantasy football, and that the NBA needs to find ways to get people to play fantasy basketball more and better. And so I had this idea that the NBA has like on NBA.com, you can play fantasy basketball. Doesn't matter what the rules are. And whoever's leading at the All-Star game, the fans who have the 2 best records on the site, they get to be the captains of the All-Star game and pick the team. So it'd be like a fantasy draft. And maybe building on Drew's idea, maybe we have 4 teams and do something with brackets. So 4 people get to win. And then like the winner gets $1 million, but it's a fan that gets the money. So it's like, if I was out there, you'd see me like getting in LeBron's face. Like, you better go win me that $1 million. Don't be letting Luka score like that. And I think they would respond to that, and it would get the fans involved. It would get the fans playing fantasy basketball. So that's where I think it could be good for us. But cool ideas there, Drew. Appreciate that take. What do you think about that, Drew, having like the fans involved in fantasy basketball?
Yeah, that would definitely help. Because I mean, All-Star Weekend is really about the fans. So as long as you doing something to make them happy, cater towards the fans, I feel like that will help the All-Star Weekend in general.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Appreciate your takes. Let's see what we got as far as responses in the YouTube chat. Our game, by the way, it's neck and neck, 67-66 between the Raptors. Over here in the Carolina game, they're holding on to their lead. 10 minutes to go. We're going to focus in on that game when it comes down to its ending. I grew up a sports fan with my dad, but my dad's in his 80s now, and he has this thing where he'll only watch the last 2 minutes of a game. He's like, even in football and basketball, he's like, it always comes down to the last 2 minutes. And if it doesn't, I don't want to watch. But if it does, I'll tune in for the last 2 minutes. And so I thought that, that's what we'll do. If that game's close, we'll hop over there for our take on it here today. Let's see what we got in the chat here. All right, we got USA versus the world. Oh, that would be interesting too, right? To have the USA player. I think they do that in some of the other sports that are there. All right. Yeah, and Adam, you were just up here with us, man, and I'm not sure what you were doing messing around. So we put you back in the YouTube chat there. We're trying to keep the YouTube chat where most of the conversation is taking place. So let's go to our next take here. It's from Alex. Go ahead and give us your first take, Alex.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick with a little bit of a homer take. I'm not sure if everyone's aware, Milwaukee, they're trying to host the All-Star game, and there's been some controversy there. I think Salt Lake City is trying to too, and obviously, it's tough with being a small market. So I guess this might be a pitch on why Milwaukee is such an underrated sports city. So I'll keep it to a minute here, but Milwaukee, known as the land of cheese and beer, right? People drink, have fun, and they eat and get fat and happy. But it's a great sports city. With first of all, you got the Milwaukee Brewers. And for casual baseball fans, that's a team they'll hit home runs generally. So if you want to go see a ball hit out of the park, you go to Milwaukee. And it's even better when you got a foot-long brat in your left hand and a 24-ounce, yes, I said 24-ounce Pabst Blue Ribbon beer in the other hand. And it's also very cheap on certain days during the week in Milwaukee. So nothing better than that. And then you got the Bucks, obviously. You got Giannis, you got Dame, you got the superstars there. Finally, they hadn't had a superstar there since Kareem. But the fans, the fans are also what make that. The fans are great. They make the city, a great sports town. When you go to the Deer District, it's called outside of Milwaukee. Um, they have tailgating there now. They just put that in. You get fans out there in the winter with next to the heaters with their their Manhattans and their thermos, smoking cigars, just having a great time. And then you get to go in, catch a buzz, go and watch the Bucks play, or watch the greatest player in the world play, Giannis. So although, our saying is fear the deer, sometimes the last couple of years it's been, beers and tears, I like to say. But just for those casual fans, for someone looking for a team to root for or watch, baseball, Brewers, and the Milwaukee Bucks. And then lastly, I will say it could be an even better sports town if those idiots from Chicago would let them get a hockey team, but they're so scared that most of the northern Chicago fans will go to Milwaukee to watch hockey and become their fans. So what I say to Chicago is, how about you just start winning games and put a better product on the ice, and then let us have a hockey team? That's my take.
Nice, nice. And I want to respond to that, but let's first acknowledge the run the Raptors are on. The game just went to a commercial. Toronto is opening up a 9-point lead here. This is pretty shocking. And it's been Powell, is that how you say his name? 15-10. This guy really stepped up
That's
this
Podol, Teenage Mutant Ninja Podol.
Podol. Okay, yeah. I said at halftime that where Indiana was winning the game was inside, and I don't think Turner's had any more rebounds since then. And Podol was like totally stepped up here, leading this charge with some putbacks there. So Wisconsin, Alex made some great takes there. Let's respond to Alex in the YouTube chat, either a thumbs up or if you think that it's way too cold to visit Wisconsin. It's funny. I've been probably to like 30 something of the states in the US. That's not one I've been to. I live in Florida now. I don't like the cold.
60 degrees, Greg, right now.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good this time of year. I'm sure it could be 25 by tomorrow, though, right? It's pretty up and down. One thing, if I look at a whole there, I feel like your sports teams, like the Favre and Rodgers, those guys didn't really leave till they were at the end of their careers. They were a little bit forced out, maybe is the perception of that. You haven't really had somebody, leave in the prime of their career. I'm just curious, because a lot of cities have been through that heartbreak. If Giannis leaves, will you be like, F you?
No, and that's
how dare you leave?
You bring up a great point, Greg, and that's another thing is athletes. Let's be honest. People don't, or I'll continue to say, let's be honest. Not let's be honest. Let's be honest. The athletes, it's not a number one destination, right? And it's predominantly because of the weather, and that sort of thing. But you see these athletes, they come and they stay. And Giannis is prime example. Giannis went through his first extension. You saw all the national pundits are saying he's going to go to the Knicks, he's going to go to the Lakers, he's going to go to the big market. Giannis stayed. Last year, they were predicting him to leave. He extended himself another 4 years. So at this point, I think, Greg, it's, I think he'll be 34, 33 for his.
Well, I'm saying if there's a scenario where this year goes bad and next year he demands a trade, are you going to be like, screw this guy? That's not what you said all this time. Or are you going to be like, if he wants to go, I'm glad he brought us a ring?
That's a good question. I mean, it would take a lot, I think, this year for him to just say it would have to be something happening behind the scenes internally, I think. But I could see if they struggle this year, they get knocked out in the first round, and then next year, same
I'm more
thing.
interested in your reaction than the probability of it actually happening.
My personal reaction, my personal reaction is when it will happen, I will be upset. But then I think once I see the logic behind it, I'll get over it.
Yeah,
Nothing is worse than Favre.
Sometimes there is nothing, no logic behind that. I mean, we have David here who, loves Harden, even though Harden forced his way out. And I don't think, Harden deserves such loyalty. But we'll save that take for another day. I was curious to get your take on
It looks like Adam's having trouble getting in, Dave. Or Greg, I don't know if you
What's that?
have a weekend it. Adam's having trouble getting in it.
Yeah,
looks
we
like.
removed him from the
Okay.
Zoom.
I gotcha.
I'm not sure what he was doing. He wasn't really participating in things and was distracting a little bit, so I had to remove
My
him
bad. Okay, I didn't know that.
from this. Yeah, that's okay. Well, he's fine. We're glad to have you in the YouTube chat. That's what that is for. Let's see. Ernest is up next, but your camera's off. He might have had to step away. We can circle back around to you. Let's go next to David. Go ahead and give us your take, David.
Look, so I live down in the South, so hockey is not a big thing here. But the one thing that hockey gets right is fighting. With this last week, it seems like there's been like 5 or 6 fights in college and NBA ball. Just let them fight. Just let them get it over and done with. They were fighting in the 80s. They were fighting in the 90s. Can we just let the guys fight? Just let them duke it out. If they get hurt, they get hurt. As long as there's no malice in the palace, as long as they're not going into the stands, one-on-one action, let them go at it. But this is I don't know what's been in the air. I don't know if we had a full moon last week, but I think there was one fight in college basketball. I think there was like 3 fights just Friday night alone in the NBA. Just let them go at it. That's my hot take.
Let them go at it. We want to be setting examples for kids here of fighting is allowed. All right, let's respond to David's take about this. In hockey, it's like as David said, it's part of the entertainment. And in youth sports, though, I think there's such a role model effect with things. I got to tell you, in where I referee in Florida, you work for the county, so they send me all over the place. It's not like I'm going to just, certain good schools or bad schools. But I'll tell you, if you swear, if a high school kid curses, it's a technical foul, and they don't. They are very good. They're very respectful. The coaches are motherfuckers. But the kids are like great. They know the rules and follow the rules and don't get teased. I want to say it's if a player gets ejected, it's like a $500 fine the parent has to get, which I don't really think is fair, because I like that weighs on me as a high school referee. Am I really going to do that to this kid? What if it's like a single mom or something? Like $500 is a lot of money to anybody, but this kid he's fighting. He deserves to get ejected, right? I don't like that penalty part of it, but it works. Like, the kids are very good. They don't fight. And I think that's a credit to, to what they see.
So Greg, do they get suspended and fined then? Because I think here it's a 2-game suspension if you get ejected right away.
Yeah, I don't remember, to be honest, if it's a suspension, because that's
crazy.
Doesn't really impact me at all, as the official. But yeah,
but a fine, wow.
Hey, Greg, let me chime in real quick, and
Sure.
I'm gonna speak for the culture. So, David Stern went through a lot trying to clean up the image of the NBA, and as in the Black culture, we can't fight because of the stereotypes. It just would not be a good look. So it's just not something that we can do. That's why you've never seen LeBron fight. Yeah, you saw Jordan fight in the 80s, but it was frowned upon. And whether people realize it or not, the NBA protected Jordan and made rules for Jordan. That's why they got rid of the hand check, and they wanted more offense. They wanted less physicality, because the ticket payers, these guys are paying $500 to $3,500 for a ticket. So, they don't want to see them fighting. The NBA can never be hockey. The NFL can never be hockey or baseball. It just is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, good report. But it's a good take by David, because I think it's a controversial topic, which is what we're looking for here. So I like that.
No, I
Without,
like it too. I'd take LeBron.
what if in the, what if in the WNBA we allowed fighting? Like everybody loves a cat fight, right? Am I allowed
That'd
to
be
say that?
awesome. Hey, I tell you what, those girls are not little. They give you a run for your money, brother.
That's
Yeah,
a slippery slope day. That's a slippery slope we're going down, Greg.
I tell you, I saw the Caitlin Clark highlight where like she was passing the ball, giving the ball back to the other team because it went out of bounds, and she like hucked it at that girl full speed. Like this girl, she's got the Kobe killer in her.
What's she like, 6'4"?
No, I don't think she's. I think she's like
She's not that
6 foot.
tall.
She's not
Yeah,
that tall.
She's got to be at least 6 foot.
yeah.
I would
think-
max
yeah.
bet Brittany Griner every fight. Max better.
if we could bet on who's going to fight in the WNBA.
I met Brittany Griner one time, and I'll tell you what, I was very intimidated. That's not somebody I'd want to go up against.
I bet. Yeah, she's I mean, especially after now she's done all this time in a Russian jail, right? That's got to make her even tougher. All right, good takes here. Hey, we're coming up to the end of the third. Indiana's closed the lead a little bit, 82-75. Halliburton having a horrible game. Would love to get some takes if he's playing bad or they're stopping him, or what is wrong with Halliburton? He has 4 points tonight, and we're almost heading into the fourth quarter. All of us that bet on him are screwed. Maybe he's just doing that to screw us. All right, let's go next to Cameron. Excited to get your take. Go ahead.
I was just saying, you live by the three, you die by the three. But I want to go ahead and talk a little NBA basketball. So my two questions really is out east. The Celtics are very dominant, okay? And then out west, it's very stat competition. I saw a stat the other day. It said that 8 seed Suns are closer to the first seed Wolves than the second seed Cavs are to the first seed Celtics. So that speaks to me is how dominant the Celtics have been and how stacked the West competition is. And one of my favorite things out West too is a team that's all the way bought in the bottom of the standings, and that's Wemby, man. That's the alien Wemby. And what's crazy too, man, Chet Holmgren, man, you put him in any other rookie of the year running, he probably wins it, right? But what Wemby has done this year has been sensational. I just want to run off a few things that he's done. He's the fastest player to reach 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, and 150 blocks. Mind you, it's late February. First player in NBA history to average a 5x5 over a 2-game span. He's the youngest player to record a 5x5 game. Only 15 players have ever done that. And also in that 5x5 game, he did it in only 31 minutes. And for anyone who doesn't know what a 5x5 game is it's getting at least five blocks, 5 assists, 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 steals across the main statistical categories in the game. He's the youngest player to record a 2020 game, youngest player to record a triple-double with blocks. He's the youngest center to record a triple-double. He's the youngest player in NBA history to record a triple-double with 0 turnovers. Only player in NBA history to average at least 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks while attempting 1 3 a game. Only player in NBA history to have these numbers in a season: 150 blocks, 150 assists, and 75 threes. Mind you, it's February. Second player to ever record a back-to-back 5-steal, 5-block game. Only other player to do that is guess who? Michael Jordan. Second player to ever record 25 points, 10 points, 5 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks in the game. David, you'll like this one. Hakeem was the only one to do that. He's averaging 20, 10, and 3 in a season. Last player to do that, MVP Shaq. Most consecutive double-doubles by a teenager in NBA history. Second youngest player to record 10 blocks in the game. He leads the NBA with 3.3 blocks. And the other crazy thing about this block stat is in the month of February, he's got 38 blocks, which are more than 7 teams in this block. So, yeah. He also leads the NBA in stocks, steals, and blocks with 4.6. So, guys, I'm telling you, the face is already here.
Cameron, yeah, I love your passion for Wemby. I feel like now if I run into somebody at the sports bar and they ask me about Wemby, I'll be loaded up with stats to respond to them with. And you know what? Circle March 11th on your calendar if you haven't already. I was looking at the schedule today. because we broadcast whatever the ESPN or TNT game of the night is going to be. San Antonio will be on one of those two on March 11th. And guess who they're playing? By request for Cameron, his favorite team, the Golden State Warriors. So we're going to have Warriors versus Spurs on Monday, March 11th. It's an 8 o'clock game. We'll still be starting at 7. We're here every night, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. We stay later if the games run later. We got to see what's going on with Halliburton here. They've cut the lead to 6, though. I've seen a couple dagger threes by Indiana. I think everyone got in their 1-minute takes. Would love for someone to or for everyone to respond to Cameron in the YouTube chat, either with a thumbs up, or if you're a Wemby hater, that would be a fun thing for us to get into. I'm all about winning, and Wemby's a rookie. His team is not very good. I'm not expecting him to win, but I don't give any accolades until you start winning. They're not even losing. They're in dead last place. I think if you're really a player who's going to become the face of the league, you can lead your team to winning in your rookie year like Jason Tatum did. He brought his team to Game 7 of an Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron in his rookie year. He led that team. Granted, Kyrie and Hayward were supposed to be on that team, but they weren't. And Tatum took over, and they lost their 2 star players. Right, that's as much a deficit as Wemby probably has. So
did they lose people from last year?
What's that?
I'm struggling with the Spurs because their record is worse. So, did they lose people?
Well, last year they traded off a lot of the guys mid-season, so they won some games early on. The scary thing is they're going to get another really high pick again. And looking at the NBA draft prospects, there's like 5 more Wembys coming out. It seems like if this becomes a trend and these guys come in every year, that's going to change the way the NBA is. I don't even know if that would be watchable, right? If it's all a bunch of French guys that are that big, playing out there. We might have to go back to the debate about them starting a 6'4" and under league. I always felt like that's something the average person can see themselves playing. They'd have to play real fundamental basketball. I think if the NBA put a height limit of 6'4", then we'd have a really interesting league out there. Doug, you still have your hand up. Did you have something to respond to?
Yeah, we were talking about fights earlier and fights in sports and non-fighting sports, and I just have a very, very strong opinion on that. And first, David, I think you give great takes a lot of time. I think they're well informed, and I like listening to them. This one right here was just way too out there for me. First off, I want to bring up the unfortunate death of Adam Johnson in the NHL, or not in the NHL, in the British Hockey League, actually. It just shows in a sport where you are playing on a slab of ice with 3-inch knives on your feet, bringing any part of your body closer to those knives is just a no-go. And fighting does that. You fall on the ground, you go all around. It's just not good. It is not a good time. It is not a good thing in hockey. And not only does it make the game more dangerous in a way that it shouldn't, not just that, it also allows incredibly untalented goons to stay in the league and make a paycheck who can't skate for nothing and sit on the first line to just protect their stars. It makes the game worse in every demonstrable way, and it will do that in any sport that is not a combat sport. I just feel very strongly about
who's
that.
going to be in the UFC if we allow fighting in these other sports, right? We gotta give the goons someplace for them to go, right? They don't really have a home like they used to.
I do have a question about the Adam Johnson death, though, because I thought I saw a video, and if I remember correctly, it was like the guy kicked his leg out, and that's what cut him. But I don't remember it being in an actual fist fight.
It wasn't a fight.
It wasn't necessarily a fight,
Yeah.
but it's just more of a point to show how dangerous hockey is
Yeah.
and how making it even more dangerous is just not a great idea. It wasn't necessarily he died in a fight or died outside, because of the circumstances of a fight. It just shows how dangerous the game is to begin with.
Yeah.
How many asses get put in the seats because of fighting, you think, though?
None.
None, really?
None. Yeah, no, not anymore. None. Honestly, in my opinion, none.
Hey, well, the best takes are the ones when every single person disagrees with you. That's how you know you're on to something that's going to make great content. Kind of like the other night when I said Kevin Durant is definitely not in my top 50 all time and maybe not even in my top 100 all time. And you guys roasted me for like an hour straight on that one. All right, Jeremiah, go ahead. Give us your take.
Yeah, I was kind of with him. There is a time and place for fighting. It's called the UFC when both participants sign up to fight. These guys are signing up to play basketball, hockey, baseball, whatever it may be. They're not signing up to fight. It's totally different. And to be completely honest, as a UFC fan, the fights you watch in basketball, a lot of the times, they're not good fights to watch.
Yeah, it's not as quality a fight as you get in the UFC, right? Where they're trained to fight. It's all about the fight.
Absolutely.
All right. Will, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed no one mentioned the short corming. That's been the hot topic. The
what is
storming
it?
the court. Basketball courts, storming them. That guy got injured.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get people's opinions on that.
Yeah, to me, it's like not even a debatable topic, right? That people are getting injured by players storming the courts, and there's no reason to allow that. For what? For a television moment, for the fans to need it.
How do you stop it though? That's the real.
I'll tell you how
Caitlin
they
Clark.
stop it. I'll tell you how they stop. I'm here. I live in Tampa, right? And USF had their biggest game of the year. They're having a great season. I don't know if they'll make the tournament. They're a D1 school here in Tampa, and they beat FAU, who went to the Final Four last year. And the kids, Tampa, right, which is known to be a very rowdy city, was ready to storm the courts, and security just said it's not happening, and it didn't happen, right? So it's totally controllable, in my opinion, just through proper security, and it just takes one time. You arrest somebody and set an example, and then kids won't do it anymore. In my opinion, I don't know. Does anybody else have a take on storming the courts, where that's maybe a rite of passage, and players just need to stay out of the way and let the kids have their fun?
Well, you know what I think kind of changed the needle with court storming. I just put in the chat. Court storming used to be so rare, right? It's like an unranked team beating the number one team, and it's like that's awesome. It's so cool to see it. Maybe happens once or twice a season, and now it's like every week it's happening. Which the parity in whatever sport is great, but again, it has dangerous aspects to it. But what I wanted to say was, if you follow Barstool. And this is great for them. They created content off this. They had the Storm Chasers, where they had their two guys dress up in the raincoats, and they would go to games where they think an upset would happen, promote the court storming, and that was like 2 years ago. They had like 15 of them. So people, I think, are starting to see stuff like that and storming courts more.
Yeah. They're encouraging it. The
Wake
thing is,
Forest was actually favored.
Yep. Yeah.
The thing
That's
with
a good point.
thing is, like in football, the players are in pads, right? It's a lot less likely that somebody's going to get hurt in football. Basketball and football is also, 50,000, 100,000 fans, right? These basketball arenas are like 10 to 20,000 fans. It's very controllable by security, and players are in a much more vulnerable position. So let's see what's happening here. The Pacers have taken the lead. As always happens in the NBA, there's always a run, and then there's always a surge in the fourth quarter. Let's see what happened. Anybody see what happened here? The Pacers, did Halliburton finally start hitting? It looks like he is on the bench as they're making this run.
Their shooting guard is playing really well.
I think Halliburton tweaked his ankle again.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Methuen, who one of you guys just turned me on to at the rookie game. Looks like he's got the hot hand there. He's 8 of 11 for 25 points. It would have been a nice over-under play in the parlays, and seems to be coming on for them. Maybe that's why they traded Buddy Hield. Anybody know much about Methuen?
Yeah,
Right.
Ben Matherin. He's from
Arizona.
Arizona. He's also one of those international players that Arizona loves to recruit. Well, not international, from Canada, but still, yeah, he's got a lot of confidence in his game. He'll talk trash to NBA vets. He'll step up. He's a bucket getter for sure, and that's why the Pacers drafted him.
Yeah, he seems like he is leading the comeback here.
But the Raptors are playing really good team ball right now. I think in their last game against the Hawks, they had almost 40 assists, and they had about 20 at halftime here. So if you see, they're dishing the ball out really, especially Scotty Barnes too, their star player. They're playing really good team ball.
Hey, Cameron, question for you, you're a big NBA guy. I feel like Bruce Brown was supposed to go to a contender at the trade deadline. Why did he? Do you have any insight on why he ended up in Toronto? Was it a 3-team trade? I can't remember.
I can't tell you why Bruce Brown is not on a contending team. I thought Denver should have re-signed him because he gets very valuable minutes. And the same thing with the big three in Brooklyn, right? When someone needed some points from someone off the bench, they would turn to him and not Cam Thomas. But no, that's a very good question. I don't know why a contending team does not want a competitor like Bruce Brown on their team.
Well, he signed a pretty big contract. They overpaid him.
Yeah.
And, that money probably just didn't work anymore in Denver for a guy.
Yeah, and he's a vet too now. So Toronto probably they got a young team and they want to bring a vet in to be a mentor for these young guys.
Boom. There's another 3. We got a nice back and forth here. The NC game looks like NC has this pretty much in hand. It is 7-point game, 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, they were just down double digits. Miami's putting up a fight, got themselves back into this game. So this one's going to go down to the wire. Something interesting just happened. RJ Davis fell, and I don't have the volume on, so I don't know if they called a foul against Miami, but Baycott was wide open under the rim, and he would have just yammed that one. So this will be interesting. They're playing full court press.
Davis has 41. I can't remember the last time I saw that in a college game.
He was doing that in their tournament run.
Yeah.
40s?
Him and Bates.
I have one.
Yeah, I don't remember him hitting 40s. Wow.
I'm worried about their bench. I was worried about their bench earlier because I knew that was a huge issue, but it looks like they finally go more than like 6 players. That was their thing a few years ago. They had no bench at all. They didn't play anybody.
Yeah, bench is tough in college. You don't really know who you got till you need them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Toronto's up 100 to 99 here. Let's check in on our parlays here. If you want to come over to this sheet, if you're, does everyone know how to use the sheets? If your parlay already hit, go ahead and mark it yellow. If you know it's a loser, go ahead and mark it red. Obviously, like if you took an under.
Sir, I have one question. How long are you ending the live? Because I'm going to sleep in a bit.
Well, we go until 10 usually. And so.
All right. Thanks. Because I'm going now.
Problem.
Bye.
No problem. Let's go ahead and mark our parlays. If it's marked in yellow, like if your over already went over, or if your under already went over, mark it in red. I gotta do some math here. Remind me not to take one that's points and rebounds, because now I got to do a little math in the box score here, and I want to keep this as simple as possible.
I think I'm hitting 100, you guys.
Yeah, I took Siakam under, so that's a bust. So I've lost 2 out of 3 so far. So much for my theory about revenge games not working. My only hope is if Scotty Barnes can go over. Clearly, this is the difference between being a fan who can talk and a fan who can bet. Where's Barnes? There he is. Barnes 16. It looks like he'll probably get over still, I hope.
I put in the other chat that a bet that's been hitting all year for NBA fans is betting the over on whoever the Wizards are playing. Is betting over on their center to have rebounds, because you look at the Wizards roster, they don't even have a true center on their roster.
So bet the center against the Wizards.
It's a 2-point game against Miami and North Carolina.
I'm gonna have to flip the channel here. Davis is putting up 40. Let's hop over there and see the finish on this. Wow. Yeah, this could literally put Miami into March Madness if they can win this game. Which would be great for the state.
That's why this is so hard for those bubble teams. Like, you want to start rooting for them, I think. Like a team like TCU is like a bubble team, so they got a good chance, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they'll still need to show up in the tournament. I'm really looking forward to the conference tournaments. Those games, when conference tournament week, I was looking at the schedule over the weekend. Those games are on at 7 and then 9:30. We'll probably cover both of those games. So that'll be a late night, but I think it'll be worth it. There should be some fun games. We'll see who has the best matchups. I watch a lot of ACC. We'll see, we'll see who's here based on what games we want to cover and what the matchups look like. I love getting eyes on the players yeah, that's why we had to put him in the waiting room. I don't know why he was messing with the Zoom like that. But I love watching the conference tournaments. I think that really shows a lot about what the players are going to do in March Madness, if they're hot or not.
Miami should have just tied it. He big bodied Baycott. He just couldn't get the layup. So 36 seconds left, 2-point game. Woo. Yeah, ACC is always fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, Miami, I mean, they've got a good squad too. So they're back from the Final Four last year. They lost 2 guys from that team. They got, I guess, Nigel Pack's not playing. They got that hustle guy. Remember him from last year.
Is
he pro, David?
You think Baycat's going to translate to the NBA?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too. If he's
No,
NBA guy.
not at all. I don't think.
I think he's an overseas guy, and he'll be very good overseas.
Yeah, if he was going to go pro, he would have went after the Final Four run.
Right,
kind of his peak. I mean, he was the ACC Player of the Year that year, his sophomore year, and led him to the championship game.
Would he have gotten drafted, do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if he would have
second
been.
round.
Probably
maybe.
second round. Now I don't know if he'll get drafted.
Oh, he'll get drafted. I mean, he's probably at the same. I would say he's the same status as he was before, but maybe a little less because he's just one year older, right? So I think he's 23.
Yeah, he's 2 years older now. It's 2 years.
Or 2 years, sorry, yeah.
He had a really bad year last year. The whole team did.
Where's Love? Is he still there or is he in the NBA? I remember him being like their best player.
Yeah, he transferred to Arizona.
Yep.
Oh, let's see how he's doing.
Yeah, we heard the story on the show last week from someone who lives out there. They said that Love and Davis were both dating the same girl and didn't know it.
Oh my God.
She's a girl on the UNC women's team. And that's like why the team tanked last year, supposedly, and Love had to transfer out of there. It's pretty crazy, right? I didn't hear about that.
That's the problem with the Hornets too. They got in team fights over dating the same woman.
Don't date during season. That's what I was always told.
Let's see if Davis can ice it here. Oh, he missed it. Oh, but they got the rebound. Oh my gosh, you cannot give up that rebound.
Yeah, North Carolina will always be a top rebounding team in the nation. I remember that's how
Oh.
they took out the Oregon Ducks in the Final Four one year. Ducks shot 4 free throws at the end of the game, and twice they let North Carolina rebound it. It was sickening.
Well, you know, guys, I was going to say, even at halftime, I noticed that Carolina was definitely a better rebounding team. And they was up 39-32. And actually, it was 32-32. But they went on a quick 7-0 run. It was all rebounding.
Yeah.
Ah.
Those rebounds off a free throw, those plays are killer, man. No, unless he misses. Oh, no. Actually, he's not on the line, so they're gonna inbound it here. Miami will have to foul or steal or something down
Did
3.
you call a foul there, Doug? Sure looked like Miami was trying to foul.
They couldn't get him.
Well, they did foul. Miami fouled them, yeah, but they must not be in the bonus yet.
Y'all are way ahead of me.
Well, it took like 10 seconds.
Now they got Baycock going to the line. Yeah, I remember a few years ago in the ACC tournament. I guess it's been a while now because it was Zion Williams, and they were when Duke beat UNC in the ACC conference. They were at the line and missed the free throw to ice the game, but Zion got that rebound and put it right back.
He did that against UCF too in the playoffs, March Madness thing. They almost beat him. Taco Falls.
That Zion team broke my heart that they didn't win it all.
Taco Fall.
Meanwhile, Toronto is back up 8 here. What happened in this game? Let me flip back over. I think this is well, Baycott's not a given at the line. Looks like we're gonna get 2 buzzer beaters tonight. That's the best way to end the night. While both games are on a commercial break here, let's start looking ahead to that next game. The next game, we're not going to stay on for it, but it is Sacramento, right? And Miami.
Yep.
So let's have everybody do at least one pick over under on that. You can refresh your over unders and just put our props in. This is more just for bragging rights with all of us here. I usually, after we finish, I usually have something to eat and watch about an hour of the late game before we go to bed. I thought it'd be fun for us all to put in one bet on this game. And if somebody starts winning consistently, we can all start pulling our expertise and cashing in. All right, here come the Pacers. Let's see if they can cut this lead. Whew. Tough drive and hoop there. I can't even see who that was. They got Olnick running the point for Toronto. What are they calling on that? RJ Barrett on a tough drive. They giving him an and one for that? I didn't really see a signal. Did you guys see that? Very little behind. Dang. He really powered it up and in. Deserves an and one. Hope they didn't call it on the floor. Yeah, it was an and one and he missed.
I think Toronto's 21 and 36 because they have Kelly Olynyk bringing up the ball. He's a power forward.
Toronto's foul. Let's just see if Baycott closed it out. He missed one. Miami's going to get a shot at it here, down 3. Baycott, he must have missed them both. They were up 3. And Baycott was on the line. I thought it was over.
Yeah, it was Shaq at the free throw line just now.
Greg, do you always foul up 3? Or if you're up 3, do you foul to stop a 3-point shot and have them go to line, or do you let it play out?
Yeah, I would foul. I would stretch it out and foul, especially if you have a pro team that can make free throws, right?
As a fan, I hate when coaches do that, man. I want
Yeah.
to see the buzzer beater.
Same.
Well, speaking of
You
which,
play to win the game.
I don't know why they don't let them
True.
advance the ball in college at timeouts so we can get more buzzer beaters at the end. Why make them have to throw that half court pass? All right, so Miami hit one here. Yeah, so now they're just stretching it out.
Nobody else had more than 10 points. Nobody else had 10 points for North Carolina.
He missed the second
That is
one.
pretty easy. Wow.
He missed on purpose?
No, I don't
okay.
think so. It was in and out.
It works sometimes.
Yeah. Free throws is a part of the game, though. You know, it's part of the strategy. It's a part of the game. I like if it comes down to a free throw shooting contest at the end because the kids, work so hard shooting free throws.
Mhm.
In the gym, it's something you just spend hours on your own. I like seeing that payoff. Oh my gosh! Now Carolina missed again. So Miami, worst case, they'll be down 3 with 3 seconds left. I'm not sold on Hubert Davis yet. It's big shoes to fill. Coming in after Roy Williams in North Carolina. I'm even less sold on Shire.
What's important? Your dedicated fidelity
I mean,
advisor.
he
lot of
was
it
a
is
half
good.
away from winning a natty. You gotta keep that in mind.
Well, a lot of his recruits are from whoever it is. I don't even know Shire, right?
Bunch of private schools, prep schools.
Like he hasn't really had any solid recruits yet, has he?
Wait a sec, what just happened? I gotta focus on this. Are you guys behind?
Yeah.
Carolina
What the heck?
missed the
What's going
second
on?
free throw.
2.6 seconds. This is crazy.
Oh, but they're calling a foul on Miami. I guess so. They gave up another offensive rebound on the free throw miss.
That's
Wow.
what Carolina does. That's how they beat Oregon in the Final Four. It's
That's
how
the
they beat
second
Ohio.
time in the last minute here they did that.
You'll find top brand kitchen appliances.
Wow.
Whacked him in the
That is
face.
just-
And online. They'll fit your
That is
budget.
just unexcusable.
With innovative features, they'll fit your favorites too.
How did that guy get in front of him? I want to see the replay on that. I think I might have accidentally closed out our game cast.
So Halliburton made a 3 for once.
They've
Woo.
missed 4 straight free throws, Carolina. They're 10 of 19 from the line. Now he finally makes one.
But that's the announcer's jinx. That means he'll make these next 2.
Timeout.
They add time? It's 3 seconds I see now.
Mine has 2.6.
This has turned out to be a really good game, guys. I actually watched it the whole time because I didn't have the Indiana game in my area.
Oh yeah, it's on NBA TV, which is not everywhere these days.
You know what? I do have NBA TV.
Yeah,
I pay for so much crap. I
yeah.
don't even know what I got.
These
Everyone was
running backs
laughing at
don't
me.
even know
I'm
what
like,
they got.
I'm like the last person still paying $200 a month for like cable TV and on the old fashioned TV. I gotta get into streaming.
I think you made a good point though, Greg. I don't know if Huber has been able to recruit well yet. He's got the recruits. A lot of these guys are still whoever was before, I forget his name.
Yeah, Roy Williams.
Yeah, a lot of the guys are
Baycott and
local.
Davis came with Williams, and they're the two
Exactly.
pieces leading them.
And they have Seth Tribble too.
I'm just gonna throw out there that he doesn't have to be good at recruiting. He's literally the coach of North Carolina. Point to Michael Jordan's jersey on the wall and say, "Do that." Do you want to be like that? come here. It really should not be that hard to recruit at a blue blood like college. It should
Well, the
not
North Carolina
games
sealed the
changed.
deal.
The games changed though now. You know, with NIL deals, it's not the same. You guys are gonna see, look at college football, watch. There's gonna be so many different teams now. Why do you think Nick Saban got out? He's like, I can't do this. It's changed. It's different.
That's because he's bad at signing NIL contracts and he lives in Alabama. Unfortunately, Alabama's not going to get a lot of NIL contracts. I will throw out there again as a counter to that. Blue blood should be even better in the NIL era because of how much of a capital like gap they have built up over years and years and years and years. Just because now like a Moorhead can actually pay Ja legally now that they can do that. That doesn't mean they have more money or more resources than a North Carolina or a Duke or a Kansas. Like these,
but they can pay one person more. So when you go to Alabama, see, I played football. So you're a running back. You go to Alabama, dude, you're like fifth string. Like they're so good. Like you're not playing till your junior year. You go to Moorhead, you're a starter. And you've got television commercials, you got a radio show, you signing footballs. The competition's different.
Look like the
different
Raptors
sport.
are trying to blow this lead.
Yeah.
I'm with someone earlier said that Grady Dick was playing it. And if you look at his stat line, he's only missed 2 shots. They just subbed him out of the game for Olynyk, and now their lead is disappearing. I don't know if I would have brought Olynyk in the game.
Oh, he flopped so bad there. Was that Halliburton? Yeah, he literally just
maybe I used to
fell over on that 3. So with NIL deals, Doug, or anybody who knows about these, is like, does your local market matter? Does like LA have more better LA NIL deals than Alabama? All right.
Well, they're going to be in a bigger market, so they're going to have more opportunities for sponsorships in their local market.
That's what excites me about the NIL deal is USC and UCLA and all these Southern schools in football, man, they have been non-existent the last 10, 15 years. It sucks not like the Pac-12. Let's be honest. It's been Oregon, Washington, and Stanford have been running the Pac-12. No other schools and it sucks not seeing these SoCal, these dominant schools from LA, because that's where all the athletes are coming from. You look at all these recruits, a lot of them, LA, SoCal, California, all down in that area. Yet they're going all the way out to SEC. So that's what excites me. Oregon's roster this year is they're bringing in a lot of SoCal recruits and SEC guys.
Well, and they're going to the Big Ten. That really,
yes, they're all going to the Big Ten. So it's going to change.
But another thing y'all haven't mentioned was it depends who the boosters are. So, for example, at North Carolina, you've got Michael Jordan, so he can put something together. They can get a deal with Air Jordan brand. At Oregon, they've got Phil Knight. That's a deal with Nike. Maryland, they have Under Armour. So a lot of these schools are going to where the boosters are willing to pay them, these extravagant deals, but they're also getting these brand contracts just to come over to these schools.
In Ohio
Hey, David,
State,
guess
like
who's
Ohio
got the
State,
#1 Michael Jordan brand and that just won a national championship? I'll get out the way.
Michigan, yep. Wait, I thought you were in Kansas. You're a Michigan fan?
Yeah.
You're in
Born and
trouble
raised,
here.
baby. I just live here
Go
for
blue.
the money.
Okay.
Go blue.
Hey, while
Ohio
we're watching
State,
the
like
while
Ohio
we're
State
watching
and
the end of this
Chiefs,
game, just go ahead and mark your parlays here so we can easily add these up at the end of the night once we're done and see who won. You put them in green like this one here. You see how to do that? You use this if they won, or red if they lost, like you see my 2 there. Yeah, I mean, I would think the best NIL deals are like from Wendy's or like like big nationwide companies, and then it doesn't matter where you live. I didn't realize like it was so booster driven. I thought it was like advertising deals. Like, do you just get money for doing nothing? I thought you had to like be in a commercial for the brand or.
Well, that's how it was originally set up. Like these car dealerships and grocery stores could give them deals, but the work around it was these boosters would put their money together and just have them sign some sort of contract. There was a big controversy about a year or 2 ago. A quarterback committed to the University of Florida, but backed out because of the deal that he got wasn't what he wanted or something like that. So there was a big fiasco with that about a year or so ago.
Mm-hmm. Ohio State couldn't get anybody, and then the boosters finally started paying them. which is crazy to me. Like they were not getting the top recruits. Then they have an unbelievable transfer team this year because the boosters gave them money, which is just weird to me because I thought it was the same as you, Greg. I thought it was a lot of like advertising rights. The booster thing adds a whole new dimension for me.
It seems like that's wasted money if you're just giving it to them and they don't have to do anything.
I don't get it, man. I thought it
Why
was
not? Why
They
not,
have
like-
to they have to play the sport. They have to play the sport that's about to make the money for the college back. That's what they have to do.
I feel
And
bad
still
for
go to
DJ
school.
Feel bad for DJ Ungalale, however you say his name. He signed that big contract with Dr. Pepper because they thought he was going to be the next big thing at Clemson and transferred like 4 times.
You guys got to understand how boosting works, okay? It's all business. So either they're getting a write-off or you're going to come do some commercials for my car dealership or for my apartment complex or for whatever business I got, my restaurant or whatever. So when you boost, because I mean, I've been a Michigan fan for almost 40 years. You're not just giving the money away. You're either getting a tax write-off as a donation or you're getting a kickback from tuition. It's all business. None of us give money for free. I'll just put it to you like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh my gosh, Halliburton. He just can't do anything right today. He just got stuffed on a 3 in the corner. Would have cut it to a 3-point game.
He's always struggled too against the Raptors for some reason. Seems like the Raptors play him real good. They must
Scotty
have
Barnes is owning him, man. He's like stepping up here.
He hasn't taken a lot of shots.
Double for
which is
Scotty.
surprising.
Halliburton has 10
Scotty's
shots.
got a triple double.
No,
I believe.
Halliburton. 11 is not a lot for him, is it?
No.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting.
Now they got a foul.
Yeah,
Down
Scotty's got
60.
12
What are they doing?
assists.
What are they doing? They missed the chance to foul. Don't foul now. Oh, and they give up a layup. That's pathetic. I guess we said Indiana doesn't play any D. Why would we expect them to start at the end? A late 3, it's probably too late though. Hey, you're never out. Foul. What are they doing? Foul Olnick. Oh my gosh. Another layup. This is a bad loss at home.
Yeah, this is a bad loss.
I'm gonna
This is a
revise
great
my
win for
pick.
Toronto, though.
I'm gonna have to revise my pick.
I don't think it's that bad of a loss. I know it's at home and it's against a team that's not doing so great, like in general, but they're also not like the worst team. It's not like they lost to the Pistons or the Hornets or the Spurs. They are losing to a team that has a couple competent players, and it's a team that's still gelling. It's not great right now, but it's also not like so egregious that we have to revise like what we're thinking about the Pacers come playoff time.
So who did you have jump with Siakam? Like who in your guys' mind do they jump now that they have Siakam?
I saw them being right behind Milwaukee, maybe the 2-3 ahead of Cleveland. I think they could be better than
So
Cleveland.
you think they jump Cleveland with Siakam?
They're
Definitely
Yeah.
Philly without Embiid.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Size. Well, now they got size, so yeah.
What about they got to jump the Knicks then, and the Cavs.
That would be a great competition.
They probably jumped the Cavs. The Knicks and the Celtics are probably the 2 best teams in the conference right now. They definitely jumped my Sixers with a hurt Embiid and a really bad supporting cast outside of Maxey. It is really bad.
Nothing ever goes right for the Knicks, so I'm not counting on
Yeah,
them.
I'm still taking Bucks number 2 in the East for sure.
Man, I like Jalen Brunson.
Well, you guys don't think Milwaukee's gonna click?
Everybody loves Brunson.
Milwaukee, of course, is going to clinch Bobby.
I mean, are they gonna click? Like they're
I
gonna
thought you said
click,
clinch.
right? Well, not
Whole
clinch,
Cavs,
but click.
yeah.
Like, are
look
they
pretty
just gonna
good these
figure
last
it
couple
out?
games.
They just beat Minnesota and Philly without Embiid, but they waxed Philly. They waxed them.
It was bad.
We're kind of
Look
down
good
on
this
the
weekend.
Bucks. I think the group's kind of down on the Bucks.
All right, last
Why?
call on parlays here. Anybody hit all 3? Looks like we didn't have any.
I somehow managed to miss all 3.
Wait, what did RJ get? Did he hit 20?
Yeah, RJ got over 20 points. He's a good ball player. I don't know why the Knicks got rid of him. I guess they didn't like the him and Brunson combo.
Yeah.
Looks like I went 2 for 3. I shouldn't have taken that Haley double. Ugh.
Yeah.
One
Parlays are
for
tough,
three.
Parlays are tough. That's that's the thing with the betting sites I have access to in Florida or when I go to North Carolina.
And the Raptors won, so
You can only do parlays and only do player props. And it's like you have to pick at least two things. And they're pretty much all 50-50. So it's like two coin flips before, I can even, get in the game. You can't just bet one thing anywhere.
You
Can you
can't
guys
bet
bet
teams.
can you guys bet one thing in your states?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can bet
Yeah.
team in a
Yeah, I can do
in-
same game parlays, player props. Just bet the game straight up.
It
What
depends.
do they do? Take like a vig? They like you bet 110 to win 100 or something?
No, they don't.
Whatever
have
the
anything.
odds are.
Greg, what do you use? Underdog?
Yeah, I use Underdog. I've been trying another one called Better.
I use Prize Picks if you want another one to check that one out.
There's so many, right? I need
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Just need DraftKings to get legalized there in Florida.
There's
They do
Yeah.
all
lot
kinds of
of- I
promo
use
deals
Nevada.
too. So many promos they do every week.
Yeah, it's funny too. Like they said like, oh, there's only 8 apps that are going to be approved for North Carolina and Florida. I'm like, why wouldn't they all be approved? Like, I guess you have to get like separate licenses or something. I don't know how that works, but to start, there's only going to be like 8 of them that we're allowed to use.
it's gonna be expensive.
In Florida has one right now. The Hard Rock Casino in Florida has a betting app. Like they only are allowing that. You can only bet through that one. Right. You can't even use
I go through US bets and I'm in Missouri and I've been able to bet with them. I don't know, the last 6-7 years. I don't know if it's legal here in Missouri or not, but they never really asked. So
Like Nevada.
They're not making you pay in crypto.
yes, they're in
right?
Vegas. Yeah, they're in Vegas. So that's my bookie.
It's interesting in Wisconsin. We have in Milwaukee, there's Potawatomi Casino, and that's the Indian tribe, and they actually somehow made a deal where it's gambling is the sports betting is legal there, but it's not legal in Wisconsin. So it was something with the Indian tribe. So that was interesting.
Yeah, it's the reservation.
They have
It's their
reservations have different laws than
Yes.
federal laws. So they can bet all they want. That's why there's a lot of casinos and other betting establishments on Indian reservations because they have different laws.
Well, that's the thing. Potawatomi's in downtown Milwaukee. It's not necessarily an Indian reservation. So
Well, they also, if it's like owned and operated by an Indian reservation, even if it's like outside of that Indian reservation, it still kind of operates under those terms.
that makes sense. I'm not complaining. So
I only know all that because I went to college in Oklahoma. It's freaking
yeah.
This game's got 25 seconds left. Let's just look ahead to tomorrow. This will be our first time on the show. We're covering my Celtics. It's Boston, Philly, a great rivalry game. Tips off at 7:30. We'll be on live at 7 doing first takes. If anybody wants to come back, you're welcome to audition as many times as you want. For those of you that have joined us from YouTube, you're welcome to join us, and you're welcome to also step into auditioning if you want. The end of this week, we're looking to wrap up this round of auditions going into March Madness. And so the other thing we're going to be trying out tomorrow and Wednesday is kind of a college basketball red zone channel. You know how NFL Red Zone is having like constant updates of football games. There really isn't anything like that for college hoops. And tomorrow and Wednesday, there's a full slate of games. So we'll be popping through a lot of the college games. So if anybody wants to watch any of those or prepare any takes on any of those, that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Boston Sixers and Celtics. We'll be back on 7 to 10 tomorrow. We're just kind of coming into the last 20 seconds here. Hey, you never know. Something could happen here. A Reggie Miller a moment could still happen here at the end of this game.
It's funny you bring that up. I always, because there's two really like famous moments like that where you have Reggie Miller doing the 8 points, or if I'm remembering right, the 8 points in like 5 seconds or something. But there was also Tracy McGrady who did the 13. I was just about to ask. I knew you knew, Cameron. I was going to ask you 13 in what?
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which do you
That's the
guys think is more
Spurs.
impressive, the Reggie or the McGrady?
McGrady. I think it was McGrady.
T-Mac.
McGrady.
It's against the Spurs too. Like prime Spurs. I think that was 05.
Did it happen in the playoffs?
Yeah, Reggie, that's what I was gonna say. Reggie's was in the playoffs, so that kind of raised the stakes a little bit.
That's true.
Against the Knicks too, like a heated rivalry.
It was definitely Reggie. I mean, because you had to be there, man. I was a teenager and that was epic. Like, that was just amazing. And I'm not a Reggie Miller fan. That was amazing.
I don't know. He did just blatantly push the guy too, like to...
So did Jordan.
I mean, Reggie just pushed him out of the way and caught the ball and shot a three. Honestly, I thought the first game of March Madness last year was just as crazy. If you remember, it was Virginia lost in the first round. The guy they were winning by 2, and he heaves the ball up to half court. And
it irritates me when I see also before he got trapped in the corner, and I hate seeing teams in that situation where you got to inbound the ball and get fouled and they trap themselves in the corner. I mean, I can't believe I hate when I see teams do that. That's a big no in basketball. Do not inbound it in the corner.
Yeah, the corner or just over half court is the other worst spot. Like, you don't want to be right over half court and have the back court line there to to block you there. But yeah, that was probably and that player, like, that's got to be so heartbreaking. I'm trying to see if I can pull up that.
Yeah, he was a senior, I believe. He was the leader on that team. I think he had a game-winning shot too, like a buzzer beater in the tournament before. But yeah, he was their leader.
He's the all-time winningest player in the history of Virginia, and was on the national championship team. And I think this is it, right? He has this moment at the end of this game.
Now for Virginia.
So they're up 3. Let's just get to the end here.
He throws it to force him to foul. The Cavaliers are
They're up 2.
4 guards, and the 4 guards out there along the schedule for the best free throw shooting.
What is he doing?
Did he just have held on to the ball?
Why does he just
it.
throw it up for grabs here? Let's just go back to that.
He had a timeout.
The timeout. I'm thinking my only explanation for why he did that is he probably thought the time was a little like there was maybe a seconds left, and he wanted to throw it up and let the time expire as the ball was
12 seconds left, so there's so much time.
And you have 8 seconds to get the ball across, right?
Right there, he gets it. There's 10 seconds left when he starts to get the ball. He must just, like you said, Cameron, have lost all sense of time. And I couldn't believe this, like, killed so many people's brackets. And like the first game of the 12 o'clock Thursday game.
I will say this, though.
I picked it.
Cam.
I picked it.
Along the schedule for the best free throw shooting.
Right, yeah, going with what Alex was saying. There's just certain teams that you can bet against, you can pick against in the tournament just because they have that history, and that's one of them.
Purdue.
So that's one that I picked against also.
Purdue's a big one.
Yeah, I'll be picking them out probably by the second round again. Purdue. I'm not ballsy enough to. It's not a smart odds pick to pick Virginia or Purdue to lose in the first round, but I wouldn't take them very far. I'm not confident in them. Yeah, it's going to be fun to talk March Madness, and then we'll have those games on. I saw this stat where like the U.S. economy loses like something billions of dollars of productivity because everybody takes off work Thursday and Friday. I'm looking forward to it. Well, this has been a great night. Appreciate all you guys. Do me a favor and shoot me a text just with your full name so I know you're here and save you as a contact. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow or the rest of this week.
All right, Greg. Hey, everybody have a good night.
Do you have your number, Dave? Do you want us to keep doing it or no? For Greg?
What was the question?
Do you want me to keep doing it even though you have my number and stuff? Or
Yeah,
no?
it's always good to just to shoot me a text. So I have everyone who was here kind of right at the top of my inbox
Gotcha.